Good morning, everyone. What's up? This is Bruno from Wisdom, coming at you live from the incredible city of Boston. First off, big shout to everyone for joining us today. We have 300 people registered for this Business Object Digital Summit, which is just awesome. I'm super pumped because we're doing the world premiere demo of the new SAP Business Objects BI 2025. And I will be doing that with Gregory Botticcio. Gregory, do you want to say hi?
Yes, I would like to say hi to everybody. So welcome for this live show again. I'm really glad to be all with you directly from Paris, from the SAP Labs in Levallois, where business objects continue to be created and answered for all of you. I'm really happy to be with you all.
And just heads up, we are recording this event as always. So if you miss anything, you can catch it later on our YouTube channel. If you want quick access to the presentation, shoot me an email or hit me up on LinkedIn. And we are here to answer all your questions, so don't be shy as always, okay? So in terms of agenda today, so we're going to have multiple sessions. The first one is going to be about the business object roadmap. The second part is going to be about how to get ready for BI 2025 with 360 Suite, and we'll also have a customer that will talk about his experience with Wisdom 360 and getting ready for BI 2025. Then after that, we'll have the world premiere with Gregory of the first public live demo of BI 2025. We're looking forward for that. And then finally, we're going to have a fireside chat with Protivity, with Nathan Truan, Keith Johnson from CB on Data, and then also the phenomenal JF Caron. Gregory, are you ready for the presentation?
More than ever.
Okay, so so one thing that is critical for us, as you all know, we push hard during each of our live events to share knowledge and train the community. So this is something that is really critical today. So we want to bring value to you today. So Gregory, let's get started. Are you ready to share your screen?
Let me do it in a few seconds. So share my screen. Share my screen. I'm going to pick up the entire screen. I want the second screen. Share. And. Here we go. Do you see something?
Okay, I will add you to the stage, and there we go. Let's get started, Gregory. So what can you tell us that's exciting about BI 2025? Because folks, let's kick things off with a deep dive into the future. We're talking about the SAP Business Objects BI 2025 roadmap. Yep. And beyond. This is where we get to see the vision and the game plan for the next generation of business intelligence and business objects. Buckle up. It is really awesome.
Definitely. Let me start my prompter. Here we go. So, welcome everyone. Again, my name is Gregory Botticcio. I'm the product manager for SAP BusinessObjects. I'm working on this product since 2011, so I have a bunch of experience in it. Let's start with the first disclaimer. Well, this is totally normal, right? Because I'm going to share some element of the roadmap and things can change without any notification. That's the usual disclaimer. But let's start with the very good news, right? The wait is over. We can all say, welcome SAP BusinessObjects BI 2025. Well, I should say almost, right? Because we are February the 4th, but the official release date is March 12th. So a little bit in advance, but nevertheless, today I'm going to explain in the first 20 minutes what you can expect with this tool and what is a roadmap. And here again, I have some good news to share with you all. So this being said, welcome SAP BusinessObjects BI 2025. I want to put again this message because we never hear it so often, but it's always good to remind this to all of you and to all of us working on SAP Business Objects. SAP is committed to continue to invest into the on-premise BI suite, and the BI 2025 is the proof that we're going to continue to invest on this suite for the coming years. By coming years, what do I mean? So this is where we have some good news and some change. So let me put it with my laser pointer. First of all, we are in 2025. If you were on the BI 4.2, BI 4.2, the end of maintenance for specifically the Purity 1 support, it has ended last December 2024. So which means we do not support anymore BI 4.2. The main release being supported right now, today, is the BI 4.3. We are still in mainstream maintenance. And for you, the good news, the mainstream maintenance has been extended by 1 year. We will support the BI 4.3 in the mainstream phase until end of 2026. This is the first good news. Then, after 2026, we will have the customer specific support, customer specific maintenance, where uh, which means that if you are in 4.3, if you want to remain on this 4.3, we're going to continue to help you to support you as long as you stay on this one. Specifically, there is something very specific with the customer specific maintenance. The first 12 months of the customer specific maintenance, we will continue to deliver security fixes, which correspond to very high and high security issues for BI 4.3, which means that if you want to stay in BI 4.3 and if you have a security issue, let's say during 2027, you are good. You're going to provide you the security fixes until the end of 2027. Then we will enter the customer specific maintenance, where if you want to get something really fixed, you will have probably to configure an update or an upgrade to the new versions. What do we talk about? New versions. So the BI 2025 has been a little bit postponed. It was due for December 2024, but as you know, the release date is now March 12. So going to get it to for all of you March 12 in 5 weeks from now. It will be supported as the mainstream maintenance until the end of 2027. Then same story. We will enter the customer specific maintenance, where the first 12 months of this period will be dedicated to deliver security fixes for the BI 2025. Then we can already confirm that the BI 2027 is confirmed. You're going to get a BI 2027 end of 2026. Again, same story. It will be supported as the mainstream maintenance for 3 years, followed by the customer specific maintenance. And guess what? Let's say we are working on something which is under dot lines here. I think you guess easily what I mean by the dot line. This is the next release after BI 2027. Today, we are working on it, meaning in terms of confirmation. Maybe we'll have a very good surprise for all of you, let's say mid-March, for the release of the BI 2025. But at least you get the entire story and the entire BI roadmap. With the BI 2025, you're going to be supported at least until 2030, but there is a high chance that it will be supported beyond 2032 in a very short confirmation notice. Going to get it in a very
So
short time.
Gregory,
Yes,
this is really good news because essentially, I think it's the first time for years, if I recall, probably since 4.1, where I have seen essentially you get out with a new release, with a new
yes,
version, and there is one version that's already announced. So this is
exactly.
good because
Yes,
that clearly shows a commitment from SAP to be investing in business objects. So now we see BI 2027. And to be clear as well, we can guess, I mean, this is BI 2029, and it's a clear
yes,
roadmap. And I'm assuming as well, Gregory, that whether you're a PCE customer, so the private cloud edition, or a non-prem deployment, whether it's used, in your organization or on a hyperscaler, essentially it is the exact same version. Is that correct, Gregory?
It is correct, Bruno. And this is my next slide because
Okay,
I don't
fair
want to
enough,
put
fair
too
enough.
much information, but you're absolutely right. This version BI 2025 is available on premise like the actual BI 4.2, which means that you take the installer, you install it in your house, in your company. If you want to deliver it through the cloud, which means that you have to select your cloud provider, which can be Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud. So you choose your hyperscaler and you deploy it yourself into this hyperscaler. So that's a second solution. And there is a third solution, which is to ask SAP through the SAP Business Objects Private Cloud Edition. It is a program where SAP will take your business object installation, install it, deploy it, maintain it for you. And this is a subscription program. And this is
Awesome.
still
And
available, of course.
Gregory, we just have a question from Venkata, and the reason I think that was really important to talk about that is there was a lot of confusion in the past. At a time, perhaps you can't comment too much on that, but at a time it was mentioned that well, there will be no more business object on prem. You're all forced to go to PC. Well, here it's clear that
No,
uh,
no, no, not at all, not at all, not at all.
it's clear it's both. So
Yes,
Venkata essentially is it's the same version that you would have on PC or with your business object. It's the exact
yes,
same. It's just difference in the way it's managed.
exactly.
Okay, so let's move on, Gregory and Venkata. Let me know if I haven't answered, and feel free as well to hit me on LinkedIn if there's something I haven't covered. So.
Yeah. Uh, Next thing I would like to highlight here is that in terms of patches, there is a change, right? We do not have any more priority one support like it is written on the slide. This is replaced by customer specific maintenance with the first 12 months dedicated to security fixes. But nevertheless, we're going to continue to deliver to all of you patches for the BI 20XX version here. In fact, the patch delivery will be between every 6 to 8 weeks. Every 6 weeks for the year 1 and 2 of the mainstream maintenance, and every 8 weeks for the year 3 of the mainstream maintenance. I hope this is clear. So, which means that you're going to deliver patches. The patches will be cumulative for all of you, and you're going to be supported, right? And to continue to fix whatever you found in terms of bugs, of course. So it changed a little bit, and this being said, uh, you're right. There is a second thing we are not going to provide anymore, which is a service pack, which is replaced by this uh, patch every 6 to 8 weeks. And why don't we provide service pack anymore for BI 2025, 27, and potentially BI 2029? Uh, we heard your feedback. Every service pack every year, which contain brand new innovations, was a little bit too much for all of you to catch up with innovations and to deploy it. So your feedback was a service pack with innovation every year. We can't follow you every 2 years. That's fine. And that's what you're going to get, which means that with BI 2025, you're going to get brand new innovations. You're going to support these innovations via the patches every 6 to 8 weeks during the 3 years. Then the next cycle of innovation will be BI 2027, 2 years after, well, not 2 years, but 1 year and 9 months from now. I hope this is clear, right? For all of you.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you made things clear about the CV 7 and above, because I think it was last year I visited a financial institution in Montreal, in fact, and they were really concerned about that. And at the time, I didn't have the answer. So I know this answers to them because, of course, their biggest concern is, okay, what are we going to do for CVs 7 and above? So I think that's very clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add the last thing. You're going to get the slide, and if you want to know confirmations or know more, learn more about this new maintenance strategy starting 2024, we have the official link for the document here, which is public. Okay.
And then, by the way, in terms of the presentation, I will be sharing also QR code, but just feel free to essentially contact us at info@wisdom.com. So please do that. Or if you want, you can always hit me at bruno.masick@wisdom.com. So, yep, awesome.
Perfect. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about PCE, but I think I don't have the slide. Apologize for that, but I will include it into my deck that I'm going to share. But in fact, PCE is a program. You have to talk to put in place with your SAP representative. This is a subscription program. What does it mean? It means that SAP will take your deployment, manage, install it, do the update for you. And that's it. You choose which version you want. So today, when we will release the BI 2025 within PCE, we will propose the BI 2025 version. You choose when you want to apply the patches, at which frequency, when. That's it, right? It's a kind of um, um, à la carte, I would say. You decide, the operation, what you want to do, what you would like SAP to do, etc., etc. And you choose, of course, your hyperscaler. And if you want to be on Windows, because BI 2025 will be delivered on Windows, but also on Linux. So you choose your operating system. And again, I would like to reinforce the message. SAP Business Objects, BI 2025, 27, and potentially BI 2029 will be available on-premise and for cloud managed. You choose. Last thing to say on this slide, moving for 4.3 to BI 2025 can be an update for all of you. We just change the name, but behind the scene, all your Web Intelligence document, all the security, all your authorizations you have put in place remain exactly the same. You do not have to recreate everything from scratch. You can do an update in place, even if we would recommend you to do a side-by-side update, which means that you keep your BI 4.3 running, you have the new BI 2025, and you use the lifecycle management to transfer users, security, universes, documents into the new version. But
Gregory, just as a side note, during the session, we will show for the first time the new methodology that we have put together to go to BI 2025. So you'll see it's in 12 steps with this is how pros do it with 360 suite. And then on the top of it is we will be doing a session later once BI 2025 is released, where we're going to do a live upgrade. So this way it's going to be clear on how to go there. And JF will be covering that.
Okay, perfect, Bruno. So I move on. I think I still have around 5 minutes.
Take your time.
No, I want to be on time, Bruno. Important information you have to know. Starting the BI 2025, we're going to invest and to innovate only in the tools and components, the ones that are really used in the SAP Business BI suite, which means that, let's say, on the left, you have all the tools and components delivered today with the BI, let's say, 4.3. And on the right, you have the tools and components that are going to be delivered and supported within BI 2025, which means that you have to be prepared and find some alternative for the tools and components that are not going to be shipped with the BI 2025, but are still being supported within the BI 4.3 until the end of 2027. And there is some win and loss, right? For example, so let's do a deep dive into the tools and components which are not part of the BI 2025 story, but will remain available to all of you through the BI 4.3 until the end of 2027. And this is for all of you to prepare your migrations, and if you have to do some adjustment in the what we are using today. So let's start with Lumira Discovery. Lumira Discovery will not be part of BI 2025, but as an alternative, we propose to all of you SAP Analytics Cloud and Web Intelligence. Today, we have up to 95% of the Lumira discovery capabilities inside Web Intelligence with the release BI 2025. I'm not kidding. I will show you to all of you in a few minutes. Crystal Report for Enterprise. The recommended tools, the go-to solution are Crystal Report Classic, the desktop tool, or Web Intelligence. Analysis for all app. The go-to solution is SAP Analytics Cloud for the moment. Live Office, the add-on for Microsoft Excel. Either you choose to go with SAP Analysis for Microsoft Office, which is another add-on, or you can use right now, and furthermore with the BI 2025, the Web Intelligence document or data access, which is available since BI 4.3 Service Pack 2, and of course in subsequent release, Service Pack 3, Service Pack 4, Service Pack 5, and the BI 2025 as well. For SAP BusinessObjects Mobile, which is an app in the Apple Store and the Android Store, the alternative is the web browser inside the mobile devices, because we did some adjustment to make sure that the webby interface open in the web browser of your mobile is really, responsive. So that's the first thing. Or the new Web Intelligence document extract, the famous Redux. You're going to love this one. I'm going to demo it in a few minutes. What it is, this is a new output of your Web Intelligence report. And last but not least, UNV and Universe Design Tool. You have to migrate to UNX by using the Information Designer tool. It's time. And this is really, I think, a big project for all of you, because this does not consist only to move from UNV to UNX and to validate that you have exactly the same universes, but also to make sure that all your webby document pointing to the UNV now are repointing to the new UNX and display the same information. And I'm sure that Wisdom can help you here. Last but not least, the multi-source universe are not supported anymore with the BI 2025. The alternative, I apologize for this, is the data blending in Web Intelligence. We call this the data mode, or you can achieve exactly the same as the database level.
And Gregory, about the
Yes.
UNV to UNX, it's funny, we were chatting internally, and literally, I think last year, for the past 2 years, we've converted millions and millions of documents, or we've repointed millions and millions of documents with Wisdom. So
Okay.
it's something anyway
That's
that
good to
we'll
know.
be covering after, where we have converted the UNVs to UNX. Then we've repointed the documents, because these are two separate processes, and of course we validated them. That is extremely critical.
Perfect. Perfect. I think I still have 5 minutes. Bruno, do
Yeah,
you
go
confirm?
ahead.
Okay.
If you want, you've got some more slides, Gregory, or should we take some questions?
I would like to show the
Go ahead.
new positioning slide and introduce. Whoop, it's my timer. Let me close it. Here we go. And show the content of the BI 2025 in slide before to demo it later on. Positioning, 2 slides. The first one. Now, business objects, one unified and open BI platform addressing the full spectrum of modern BI. Today, Business Object is a unique proposal on the market, and I hope you all recognize that, and you can achieve everything which is listed here. A strong data access that lets you access all the major database on the market, being on-premise and in the cloud. A secured semantic layer, which is an abstraction layer that you can define and let your end user play with. This is secured and governed, which means that everything you put in place is fully secured. You can leverage the security is defined at the database levels, or add additional things at the universe level or at the object level. We have a strong ad hoc query panel to request whatever you want from your database, and a data mashup tool directly into Web Intelligence. You can create analytical dashboard and transactional reporting. That's the primary usage for assigned to business objects, to create transactional reports that can be scheduled and published to whoever needs some information. And last but not least, if the functionalities you provide by default are not enough, we provide you a bunch of SDKs to extend and integrate new things if you want. So that's really a unique proposal on the market. Lastly, this is a new way I'm going to position right now today Web Intelligence. WebBee is no longer a reporting tool. WebBee now can do acquisition of data, any data, transform the data that you're going to request, transform, enrich the data. You can build any kind of visualizations to create dashboard, analytical dashboard, and transactional report that can be analyzed to help you to take any decisions. And last but not least, you can share this to whoever need this kind of information. This can be people part of your organizations or people outside, and they can also comment if they want. Yes, that's it. That's the two new ways to position the
So are you
BI.
saying with BI 2025, you'll have like dashboard capabilities?
Definitely, yes.
So then there is no more need to go to other BI solutions where essentially now you will have like a true dashboard and you will have data behind. So it's going to be interactive. Is that what you're going to show later?
Yes, this is what I'm going to show you later. And this is part of the BI 2025
Okay.
proposal, definitely, which means that, yes, it's time now to recognize that Web Intelligence, and furthermore business objects is more than transactional reporting. It was already possible to build some dashboarding by using the reporting capability, right? It was possible, but now we wanted to have a smooth experience for all of
Got
you.
it.
And this is what we wanted to do with the story of BI 2025, right? Quickly, if you look at really Web Intelligence, the first pillar is to engage user with dashboard featuring new dynamic visualization with specialized elements. We are talking about new viz. Second objective for Webby was to deliver Webby document to whoever need it, but in a new format, in a new way. When you want to share information today, this is PDF, this is Excel, this is CSV, this is TXT file. But would this be phenomenal if we could share the data, the layout, plus the interactivities? That's the proposal for the middle pillar. And the last one is to make it improve the efficiency for everybody spending, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours in Webby to create report and dashboard. And that's the proposal. The first pillar, Webby as a dashboarding tool. Now you're going to get it. You're going to get it through several innovations. First, new viz that we have named widgets. Second, new layout. We will propose you dedicated layout to create this kind of dashboard, and advanced interaction in the report, in the dashboard, so that your users will not have to search for what to do. They will have, this will be at their fingerprint.
Is it like an interactive PDF dashboard or something like that?
This is a live Webby document which is connected, but the live PDF dashboard is this one, the Web Intelligence document extract. Imagine that the new dashboard you will have created by using the new widgets, the new viz components that you delivered inside BI 2025, that you can export it for a multitude of external users which have nothing related to business objects. We don't know who are business objects. So we will create a new output, a new file that you will be able to distribute for mobility on FTP, in file system, in Microsoft OneDrive, in Google OneDrive, or even for your internal and external portal. This file will contain everything. It will contain the data, This file will contain the layout. It is a dashboard. And furthermore, it will contain all the new interaction we have defined, all in one file, autonomous, disconnected from web intelligence, and you can share it, and it is free, which means that everyone who's going to receive this new web intelligence document extract, we call this WIDX, can open it. They will open it in their favorite browser, and that's it. And they will be able to play with this dashboard. Live demo in a few moments.
So it's essentially you don't need to pay any extra. You don't need to go in through.
No,
I need to convert my licenses or all these
no,
things that people don't want to do.
no, no.
Good.
This is part of the story, and I think this is a game changer.
Okay, so let's take a couple of questions. We got a lot of questions here, and then we'll also take some after. Or do you want to show some more slides here,
Well,
Gregory?
this one is you're going to show in the demo. This is a new interface that we wanted to introduce to enable the business user and the power user to build what I mentioned. So the dashboard and this new web intelligence document extract, the famous WIDX. We will show you this in a few seconds.
Okay, so let's take a couple questions here. And we got a lot of questions, so I don't guarantee that we'll have. So we have a first question here that's interesting about data spheres. So will the BI 2025 be connected to SAP DataSphere?
I think we are working on it. I think, yes, this is planned.
Yeah.
This is planned.
You know, it's actually happening right now. We have some customers today, Gregory, that are already leveraging DataSphere. So,
okay.
And it's actually a great solution by SAP. I've seen actually a lot of, excellent functionalities, and I had some very good feedback from customers. So
very good. Hear that.
And then I have actually a question for you on the side, and if you don't have the answer, it's fine. But when will data services with BI 2025 be released? Is it with 6-month delay, or what's the idea?
No. The idea is to have a version of data services compatible with the BI 2025. We are working on this synchronization issue that you mentioned. So I cannot guarantee that it will be made available at the same time than the BI 2025, which means mid-March, but it will be not in 6 months after. We are working to make sure that this is not even 3 months after. It will be before.
Okay? So can you repeat how soon BI 2025 will be ready? I know you mentioned that
BI
earlier.
2025 release date is March the 12th. Right? For data services, let's say before 3 months after.
We got another question here from Jeff. And is the plan for BI 2025 and BI 2027 to have the same look and feel? So
yes.
What's your idea there?
Yes. The interface we have in BI 2025 would be the same in BI 2027.
We have another question from Reimer here asking, are bug fixes in 4.3 also fixed in BI 2025?
Yes.
So I'm sure these are fixed. And Reimer, it would be interesting to know more which version you are, but typically, of course, the higher in the service pack, the better on that. So we've got a question from Sven here asking, is 4.3 Service Pack 5 the last service packet for 4.3?
Correct, it is.
Okay. And then we have John, who's actually really interactive today, and actually who answered on that. So with support for the .unv universe going away with BI 2025, you may need to do some conversion work to your upgrade. Yeah, definitely. And that has to be done before. We've got Kimberly asking for if the presentation will be made available after. Yes, definitely. Again, you can hit me on LinkedIn, or you can send, I will actually after that show a QR code. You can use that to contact us, or type info@wisdom, so 3eyes.com, and then we'll get back to you. There's another great question here about what's the status for multi-source universe discontinuity. So, well, these are not going to be supported with BI 2025. Is that correct,
Correct.
Gregory?
Yes, this is correct. The UNX multi-source, the multi-source universes of type UNX will not be supported within the BI 2025. So you have to find alternative, and the alternative we propose is the either the data mode in web intelligence introduced starting BI 4.3 Service Pack 4. I'm going to show you in short demo, or to do the multi-source at the database level. We have many databases that support this kind of multi-source flow right now.
And actually, I will tell you, I'm very proud to say that we're today the only vendor actually to have a solution to convert your multi-source UNXs
You're right.
to single source. So it's something where we put a lot of effort in, all our engineering team put a lot of effort in, and we're the only ones to be able to do this today. And we would be more than happy to talk to you. Okay, let me take a couple more questions before we move on. Um, okay, is it still possible to migrate reports that are still on the old UNVs to a new existing UNX when already upgraded to BI 2025? Well, you know what? You are going to BI 2025. You need to be number one, converting your universes from UNV to UNX, and number two, to be repointing them, and number three, you need to test and validate them. So you will not be able to do that in BI 2025.
Right.
And it's the sooner you do it, the better, because if tomorrow you're forced for whatever reason to go to BI 2025, well, if you haven't done that, you're going to be stuck. So we had another comment here from Reimer saying, when we're talking about the Webby dashboards, is I only build dashboards in Webby, and yes, this is possible, I think, since 4.2 SP7, if I recall. So yep.
It's great, but you will have the new experience that you are proposing. Potentially not the new experience, but the new components, the new widgets that are going to help you a lot to achieve this use case.
Correct. And then we got another question from Umair here. How about SharePoint? Well, here, Umair, as well, is, use 360 suites. It's something that we cover well, and we've been doing that for years. We have another question here with BI 2025. Is there a possibility of integrating dashboards to web pages?
Yes, with the BI 2025, yes, definitely, by using this new web intelligence document extract, WIDX.
Okay. So there is another question from Venkata. So there is no end of life for on-prem. Okay, so to be
Correct.
clear, there is no end of life. It's just you need to go to the latest version. So of course, 4.2 is end of life. You need to be in 4.3, and then you will need after that, of course, to go to BI 2025. So whatever you heard, and I know, let's say, or anyway, there is no end of life on it. So to be very clear, so have no worries about that. Okay. Hold on here. Okay, there's another question. In the past times, okay, to get the public to see the content, we had to set up another server outside the firewall. This new option sounds great. Okay. Okay, so this is actually from the phenomenal Charlene. So that's good. I'm glad that you like that. And if I haven't answered your question, just feel free to put a comment. Nicholas is, why is there repointing after switching from UNV to UNX of Weber reports not integrated into the upgrade process? Do you have any tool like 360 suite? Well, to be fair with you, each time that you do, or that you convert a universe, yes, there is a way that you can do this in BobJ, but it's extremely manual. and we're able to do that automatically and test the migration. This is why partners are there, so to overcome some of these limitation. There's a question: why is the migration path? So we will be covering that after. Um, uh,
Seems you have a lot of questions.
yeah, and I think I'll need to stop. Okay, let's take a couple more. Okay, is data blending technique replacing the merging technique?
No, it complements it. So which means that if you have web reports using the dimension synchronization, I don't merge dimensions. That's the name of this functionality. You can continue and go on with it. But we think that the new data mode that I'm going to show you, if you have never seen it before in a few minutes, is a better solution because it creates from the original queries and cubes generated by the query. So imagine you have 3 cubes. You can really logically synchronize merging by choosing the operator in order to build a virtual cube that can contain all the data validated by yourself. And this is this last and virtual cube that you can use to build your report on. And this is, I think, much better than merging objects at the design time, which is, of course, still possible, right? But I think this data mode is more powerful, definitely more powerful. Bruno?
Okay, can you hear me? Is 4.3 and BI 2025 the same look and feel?
I didn't get the question. Is
It's going to be the same look and feel, correct, between 4.3 and BI 2025?
yes, the same look and feel, but with some minor evolution.
We got a question from Chuck here with BI 2025 release on March 12th. Be on the SAP PC only, or will be available for on-prem installations? Of course, it's going to be made available for on-prem installations, Chuck. So, in fact, I would be surprised if PC customers have got. We'll be rolling out BI 2025 straight away.
Correct.
Okay, let's say 2 more because I can't take everything, but I promise we will take some more. After that, when is 4.3 SP5 releasing?
March, April, or later, but I can confirm later. I don't remember. At the beginning, it was end of March, but I think it has been a little bit pushed.
Yeah, because it was
postponed.
BI 2025 was a little bit delayed. Got a question from Kimberly. Sorry if I missed this. Will BI 2025 support Oracle ES-based OLAP connections?
I have to double check. Frankly, I don't have top of my mind. Sorry.
And okay, let's take that last one. Can we upgrade from 4.3 to BI 2025 on the same AWS server, or do I need to set up a BI 2025 and migrate from BI 4.3?
It's a choice. It is possible, but our recommendation will have to be a side
Yeah.
update.
Yeah,
Side by side.
seriously, just do a side by side. It is a lower risk.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes things don't always do well. So for the moment, we'll stay there with the questions. I'm sorry, we got still a lot coming in, and I promise we will take some more. And we'll get Gregory and the rest of the team also to be answering that right away. Okay, so let me share my screen right now.
Yes, let me
present.
stop the sharing
Hold
on my
on.
side. Here we go.
Give me a second here. Okay, and then now let me go to my screen, share screen. Gregory, there's something that we have spoken over the years is it is extremely important to train the community. As you all know, we push hard during each of our live summits to share knowledge and train the community. I had invited Jack and Carmen from Hiller Consulting today to talk about BobJ training. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it, but I will tell you a few words about what they do. If you're looking to up your game in SAP Business Objects, universes, and web intelligence reports, you're going to check them out. They're really awesome. They offer top-notch BobJ training. They've got a range of remote and online courses tailored just for you. Whether you're flying solo or bringing the whole team, they've got you covered with individual sessions or group sessions. Jack and Carmen are super knowledgeable, and they both have over 20 years of experience in BobJ. You won't find better guides to do that, to help you master the tools and essentially ready to level up. Contact them. So I just wanted to put a couple words on them because it's so important to train the community. And I promise on the next event, we will add some BobJ training that we could not do today. So let me also now get JF Caron in, who is going to be supporting the next session. Where is JF here? Okay, I see JF is on. JF, how's it going today? Hold on. I
There
will
we
unmute you.
go.
That's always better.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you 100%, JF.
Hello, hello. Good day, everybody. Nice to be here. Just so you know, I'm broadcasting from Phoenix, Arizona, where it's pretty nice right now.
Okay, so well, Jeff, we've got essentially a key topic with BI 2025, as mentioned before. Well, now is you need to be going to UNX. This is something that we've been talking about for the past 7 years or so. And, I can imagine a lot of people have delayed that, but now it's the time. And here over the years, as I said, is we've helped customers repoint millions and millions and millions of Webby documents. So we have put together this 6-step methodology where it goes, of course, it starts with a backup. Essentially, whatever you do is you need to have an insurance, and this is your backup. Then the second step, it's about your audit where, well, perhaps you don't need to convert all your universe and repoint all your Webby documents. We will help you understand what are not used. Obviously, once you find that documents are not used, universe not used, you may want to do the cleanup. You may want to archive them. After that, you need to convert your universe from UNV to UNX. Obviously, after that, you need to provide them a new address through the repointing. And then ultimately, it's all about the validation. Well, JF, let's go through these. Can you, at a high level, and perhaps after that, if you don't mind doing a demo, that would be cool. What can you tell us about the backup?
Well, backups always been a question, I would say, with business objects. So most solutions that customers use are in-block backups, which are kind of okay for disaster recovery. But when you start into a project like converting and repointing your documents, you may have to, restore individual documents, individual universes if anything goes wrong. And that is a solution we offer here. Our backup system backs up all the objects, and I take that very, very widely. That's not only universes and documents, but that's our target here, individually. And you will be able to, as you can see on this nice screenshot here, restore them individually, even compare them if that's what you want to do before.
And you can even roll back at the object level, so which is really nice due to the incremental capabilities. So if there's something's corrupted, you can go down to the object. And I think, if I'm correct, we also even handle personal documents.
Absolutely. Again, we cover the entire content of business objects. And this is a little bit off topic, but we also offer disaster recovery. So when you lose everything, using the same backup. We have solutions for that.
And yeah, you can even, I know even SAP does that with Wisdom, where they can even keep their environments in sync. So thanks to 360 and Wisdom. Okay, the second step is about the auditing. So what can you tell us about that? Why are we talking about that?
Well, the first thing is most customers like visibility on the content, not from their own fault, but they don't have the tools for it. So when you dive into a project like a migration, or in this case the pre-migration conversion, you probably don't want to handle obsolete, stale content or unused content. So what we provide is an analysis of your content, and a very broad one at that. But we'll focus really on what matters here for the upgrade. We will capture information from your system database, all your metadata. We will capture information from within the different objects. For example, which documents use which objects of which universe. But also, very important, we will correlate all that information with what's in your audit database. That is usage, or even more important, not usage of your different contents. And as you can see on this little snippet of a document here, you will have all the activity again,
Awesome.
lack thereof, displayed right there.
Yeah, because essentially you don't want to convert, you don't want to repoint something that's not being used. Obviously, then after that, once you do that, you need to do the cleanup.
Yes. For what follows, one thing that's important to understand about the 360 Suite offering is that we can perform a lot of operations that are very lengthy, very click intensive in Business Objects in bulk. So the cleanup, for example, we will flag somehow. So we have bulk processes that will allow you to flag, let's say, unused content, and flag them with a tag like this one to archive, or whatever works for you. And then we will be able to archive or delete that content in bulk. In a single operation, you can move thousands or tens of thousands of documents at once or instances for that matter, to archive, and outside of your business objects footprint prior to migration.
And we even have an option where you can also keep that content in Business Object, but essentially hide it. So if you're afraid to delete it or to do a real physical archive, there's a way in between. Initially, this is something that we commonly do. Then after that, it's a conversion of your UNVs to UNX.
Yes. Again, in bulk, if you have a large number of universes, of course, the IDT is there for the onesies, twosies, but this allows you to basically pick any number of UNVs, click one button, and the resulting corresponding UNXs will be created, typically in the same folder, but you can also choose that. So flexibility also here is the key.
And where Wisdom comes into play, it's more when you've got like quite a few UNVs, then you're gonna save a lot of time and reliability on that. Okay, then after that, it's about the bulk repointing.
Well, this is huge, right? If you've ever tried to repoint a WebE from one universe to another, well, I say tried, it works fine. However, it is very time intensive. We've estimated the time it takes to do that. I mean, it varies, but we're talking minutes here. And when you multiply those minutes by tens or hundreds of thousands of documents, you get astronomical figures of the manpower required. So in this case, we offer two different approaches. The reason why I mentioned that is that, again, we will adapt to the way you approach your project. But the bottom line is that we will be able to, in bulk, repoint the web intelligence from whatever old or simply said UNV universes to their new flavor, to the UNX. And again, in bulk, very easily. By the way, there is of course, the freehand SQL, which is not universe related. That, of course, is not converted automatically. But customized SQL will be.
So let's go to the next one. Here is obviously at the end is once you've done all that work, is you need to be validating your entire process, because regressions do happen, and it's just a matter of finding them to make sure that people have a proper taste. So Jeff, let's go directly into the demo if you don't mind sharing your screen. I will stop sharing right now.
I will see how I can do that, because this is new to me. And there we go. Present. Share screen.
And I see a good question from John in the meantime about the Tomcat, something that we're going to talk about later on, John.
Okay.
So Jeff, we don't yet see your screen.
I know. I'm fighting a little bit here.
Not a big deal.
Window here.
So there's a question in the meantime from Nadia. Is it possible to have to test a version of BI 2025? Well, Nadia, right now, you could have tested it before, but I think this is over right now. So you will need to be waiting until the new version of BusinessObjects is out mid-March.
Bruno, I think I'm sharing my screen right now. I don't know if you have
what? Here. Okay, I see your screen right now, and you're in.
Fantastic.
So okay. Is that the new cockpit?
Yes, exactly. I wanted to touch a word on that. So when you log into 360 Suite, this is the screen you will see immediately after log on. And it provides you with some statistical information, which is interesting, but I will glance over that. You will see there's a orange bullet here over the title Audit BI 2025 Readiness. So our cockpit will show you information about your level of readiness for 2025. And here in iDemo system, we have 10 UNVs that are still there. They may or may not be converted, but it's drawing your attention to the fact that, hey, they should be taken care of. I also have 2 crystal reports for enterprise. You will remember that Gregory said 2025, you will have to find an alternative for that. Again, it's drawing my attention to that. And finally, it tells me, hey, I have that many documents that are still pointing to UNVs. You will have to take care of that. So at a glance, your level of readiness for 2025.
Okay, so that's cool. So this is available to the current all Wisdom 360 Suite customers. So, hey, can you show us at a high level the backup and how to convert and to repoint and validate?
Absolutely. So let's start with the backups. The setup is very simple. Basically, we establish a backup task. And what it does is very simple. It will, using its own technology, take a copy in a compressed format of all the objects, or if you want, you can restrict that in your system. And the next time, so you run those backups typically daily. The next time you run them, it will pick up only anything that has changed. That is something new or something that has been modified. So that means those backups run very fast. And so once that backup is in place, once it has run, you will be able to restore very easily individual items, objects. They could be entire folders like this. And so if I go to manage backups here from the 360 interface, so this is very similar to what you would see in the CMC, right? It's a list of folders. But here I see the different backups that were kept. Again, incremental. So that means for each of those, something has changed from the previous one. And if I decide, okay, well, there's something I need to restore, just click on this button here. And I can just overwrite, or I can restore side by side if I want to be extra certain. This is a folder, so do I want subfolder? Do I want the documents? And if I do want the documents, do I want to restore the instances? So that is for a whole container. And similarly, if I go to the contents of a folder, same thing here. So if I click on an individual document, I have the same options available to me, with the extra option of comparing my current document with what's in the backup. Again, a very, very useful feature here. And same thing here, I can replace or side by side, and I can restore instances if there are any associated with the document. So extreme flexibility here, important in this type of projects, because it's easy to break something, inadvertently, or sometimes regressions happen, but you can pick and choose what you need to restore. And again, as a reminder, you can use the very same backup for a full restore in case of big corruption, but you can also keep side-by-side system synchronized.
Okay, can we move on?
Certainly. Let's take a look at the auditing. I will go very quickly through that just to give you a flavor. Nope, I do want to continue. So all the information we mentioned before that is captured is actually stored in one little data mart that we maintain, and we use Webby documents to get information out of there. So we were talking about document activity. So we have document usage here. Okay, well, that's fine. This is what you saw on the screenshot. So for each document in your system, or a subset, of course, you can see when they were last used, how much activity there was, that's the action count, or possibly that they were never used in the time frame we were interested in. Likewise, for universes, we have the unused universe object. So this is a summary that shows you for each universe how many objects exist in the universe, and next to it, how many of those objects are actually used. What objects are actually used in a Webby or other queries. And then here, okay, I'll have to unfortunately refresh that, so I'll skip that. But you'll take my word for it. We can go down to the detail level and show for each of those universes which objects are used, which are not used, and so on and so forth. And then impact analysis here. This is out of the box. We have for each universe the documents and that are connected to that universe. I have a simplified version here that is working by section. So for this universe, I have all these documents that use it. So this gives you an overview of what you have to migrate or convert, as the case may be, and from there you will make your cleanup.
Fair enough.
Which brings us to the cleanup. Not much to see here because it's a bulk process. We will have identified what we need. We have bulk processes called administration tasks that will allow us to flag the content that we want to move, and we have that we want to clean up, that is delete or archive, as the case may be, and likewise we'll be able to handle that in complete bulk. Okay, this is not very exciting, so I will not go through a full demo, but basically what we do is create a task that can be scheduled to run immediately or at another time. And then we have a huge collection of features. We'll talk about the repointing in a moment, but we can manage our users. As you can see here, we can archive flagged resources that will be either pseudo-archived, as Bruno mentioned. That means they disappear for everybody except the administrators. They look like they're deleted, but they can be restored in a few clicks. And of course, we can archive off from the platform, which for all intents and purposes is deleted from the BusinessObjects system. Okay.
Okay, let's move on to more exciting parts, JF. So where rubber meets the road, where big savings happen there.
Yes. So I will not touch on the conversion because, again, that is so straightforward. I'm pretty sure everybody get that. The repointing. So here, again, using those so-called administration tasks, there is a process, a feature called Repoint Webby Universe. Why are they two different ones? Well, again, it is to align with your approach in your particular project. To make it simple, you can work universe by universe. That is the first one, which is the one I will show you. Or you can work at a document level. So given a document, of course, a set of documents, you may want to replace all the universe, repoint all the universes at once. But to keep it simple, I will show you this one. And basically what we are going to do is provide a list of content to be processed. For example, a particular area of the business. This information will be provided directly from here, from our so-called documentation tasks, or as you have seen from our audit processes, our audit reports, we can export that to a file. But at the end of the day, you will have a collection of webbies that you want to repoint, and you will simply specify, on the one hand, the quote-unquote old universe, which in our case will be the UNV, and on the other hand, the corresponding UNX or new universe. A few parameters here that you may recognize if you've ever done a repointing by hand. And we'll click on process here, execute the task. 360 Suite will go through all of your documents. Whenever it identifies the UNV, it will change in the document that reference to the UNX, and we're done with that.
Fair enough. And then the best for the end now for the validation.
Validation. So this is not just about conversion from UNV to UNX. It may prove handy, it will prove handy after your migration as well. But the general principle is this. We will capture information before and after something. So in our case, we're talking about converting UNV to UNX and repointing accordingly. So what we will do is capture information before the repointing and information after the repointing, and then we will execute a comparison. That comparison ran successfully here, but it's flagging my outcome as non-matching. That means that between the two captures, something changed. Something is not just right. So I will open this display here. And this shows me that in my little demo sample, I had just 3 documents. And good news, on the green here, I have one document that is 100% matching. No discrepancies, no need to take a look at it. However, there are 2 others that show some difference. So I'll click on the first one. And it's a Webby. You see at the bottom there the different tabs, the different reports. And this first one is crosstab. And everything highlighted in orange is indicating a discrepancy. And not necessarily something that's easy to catch with the naked eye. For example, this first cell here, 227.68, 225.19, not easy to catch, but 360 Suite does capture that information and displays it to you. You can also go to an analytical view, which goes in many details, cell by cell, and you can see that in a different format.
So essentially here, you can compare the data, you can compare the pixels, you can compare the metadata. Can you document all that?
Yeah, I'm getting there actually. So yes, you said the pixels. This is also an example. The graphs are different, which is highlighted here as well. Another thing that may be very important, especially in a migration of this kind, is the execution time. The execution time is captured, and I can decide when I display this what difference, what percentage makes it a discrepancy. So even my green document there, if the execution time had been too different, would have been flagged as not being the same. And then you see those 2 Excel buttons here. There are 2 types of information that I can extract from this. So I have this one here. How will I be able to share that? Give me just a second. I will show you the outcome in a minute.
While you're looking as well, there's another great thing we do at Wisdom. We're also able to validate the data provider. So we can actually run a query between your cube and your data provider, and we can make sure that whatever is supposed to show up shows up. And this also helps you to validate your ETL. So this is extremely convenient.
Yeah. Let me see. I will stop sharing for a second, and then I will.
And just after, we'll have Ghassan that's going to come. And actually, I'll be curious to ask him if he had any regressions. I think he had close to 60,000 documents. In his process. So, it's not small. The largest ones we had were over 1 million documents. Well, Jeff, if it's difficult for you to find, we'll just pass over. And,
I should be good if you want to
just
allow
show
me
it
to
for
present.
a second, and then I know we need to move. So, if you can show it right away.
Yep. I think you have to bring me up to the screen.
Nope. I think okay. So here, okay. Yes, I have now.
There we go. Fantastic. So very quickly, this is the summary information. You see all 3 documents here with so-called metrics. That is how many discrepancies there are. And then I have this other one, which is the detailed analysis. This is important. Why? Well, because it allows you to document your validation and possibly share it with your stakeholders and have.
Yeah, obviously you want to make sure that once you've tested, you validate. Of course, you can document, and we can even certify now all your reports with Wisdom. Thank you very much, JF. So let me add to the stage. Now we got actually a special treat. We're going to have a chat with Ghassan about why he chose Wisdom for his UNV2NX. I recall was about 60,000 documents. It's always great to hear customer insights. So let's go into it and see what Ghassan has to say. So Ghassan, thank you very much for joining. And I love Pink Floyd behind you. So as always, I tell you that each time. So anyway, great to have you today.
they're here to stay anyway. But yeah, we had a project migration from our backend from DB2 to Snowflake. So we had a lot of universes with monster universes connected to thousands of documents, and we took the opportunity also to. So the project was twofold: migrate DB2 from to Snowflake, and then upgrade the universes and repoint the documents, the ones connected to DB2. But we took the opportunity also to whatever we have many backends, and they have like UNV universes. So we took this opportunity to convert from UNV to UNX, regardless of the backend. So the whole thing was delivered last mid-December last year, and then it was a good experience using your tools to facilitate this migration, regard whether you're UNV, UNX, or for a change in the backend. So we did have to do a lot of tests, and with limited resources and budget, we were able to deliver like on time last year.
And boy, I know you guys were really limited on resources, especially in
Yeah.
your business. I know margins are tough, so a dollar is a dollar for you guys. So I know you're always trying to get the most out of it. And like out of that project, how many people were really doing the work?
Well, actually, we couldn't afford to have the business involve the business and the processes, especially the validation process, because well, everybody is overwhelmed, and then we have a special context that we couldn't afford to take people from departments and they have them to validate their content. So what we did is me and my colleague, we split the tasks, and then we will address the universes for special departments, and then we will see which documents were we mostly used, which ones are running like a publication using this 360 eyes the tool. So we're able to tell which documents are actually active, which ones seem to be critical, and then we took it on ourselves to do the migration with the 360 suite tools.
And
I
yeah,
wanted to mention that we wanted to use the automation framework, the ones that comes by default with this tool, with
okay.
SAP. Unfortunately, we couldn't use it for more than 10, 50 documents per universe. And then we have thousands and thousands of documents, and probably half of them are active. So we really had to use a tool that will facilitate and then make it easy to deliver on time and on budget.
So you're saying things just didn't work with the migration tool provided with the automation framework. Is
It
that what you're
didn't
saying?
work. Usability, it's hard, and then the hardest part is, yes, you will be able to migrate to UNV to UNX, and then if you have like 10, 20, 50 documents max, you can go still, and then you do it with manually do it. But then when it comes to testing, and if your document returns like hundreds of pages, and then how can you compare to see where's the discrepancy? So the comparison tool the 360 suite provides, we could do it visually and then instantly. It's just a matter of running a report in like connecting to DB2, and in our case, and running the same document connecting to Snowflake, take an extract and visually see what the differences are. It's like,
Yeah.
to the naked eyes, you won't see the tabs and the blanks, and then this you couldn't see, but it's still there. And then you don't see the decimals, because going from UNV to UNX, somehow the same documents, there was a rounding. They were rounded in the new version. So it's hard. The small details that are hard to see, you can have the decision. Okay, like a decimal, yeah, because it's a rounding
Right.
issue, but it's not an error. So the document still goes live.
So a lot of people say, "Hey, do I need to validate my my reports after I went from UNV to UNX. So, have you seen regressions, Gassan?
Well, we went by batches because we
Obviously,
didn't
yeah.
we didn't want to do a big bang thing and then only to realize we have an issue. So we split our migration to batches, and we use the 360 suite to create an administration task to do the conversion, follow up with the users, make sure that they're okay with the result, and then accelerate the execution of the remaining batches. So we didn't have to go into regressions because everything tested as we wanted.
Right.
But
But
we
obviously,
still
I
had.
assume you found regressions. I mean, where you could catch them before they were in prod.
Yeah, okay, exactly. This is what why, and especially when when we're moving from one backend to another, there's a syntax, the SQL syntax is not 100% the same, and we have complex queries. So yeah, this is where what we needed to confirm, that we connect to the new backend and run the test, and then decide if it's a go or no go for the batch. And we couldn't rely also, and if in case we run into errors, we still had the backup, the 360 suite backup running. So we had the luxury to have the luxury to like selective rollbacks in case we run into issues. But unfortunately, we didn't have any issues. Everything
And
was
if I recall, for your 60,000 documents, I think without 360, you would have needed one person for over a year to do that process, not even validating.
even more,
Yeah, I think it was more than
especially.
2 years. But
Yeah, it's even especially because we have many custom SQLs written, and
right.
these needed to be validated because we have critical reports, unfortunately, in custom SQL. So being able to deliver fast on the regular documents, we had enough time to address the custom SQL ones and fix them manually one by one. Like we were two persons.
So just to sum up initially, so before going to us, you looked at what SAP had, and then
Yeah.
you found some limitations where it was okay to do one, just a few, but if you wanted to do things in bulk, it was just not working. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. We made a proof of concept just to
Oh,
justify it, to justify the need to have to invest on a tool, and then for less a month's proof of concept, we were not able to get anywhere close to what we needed to do before the end of the DB2 contract. We have a time limitation. We cannot renew the DB2 contract because we're signed with Snowflake. So
okay.
we were fine, and then thanks to the tool, we were able to deliver on time and on budget.
And I know that was important on that. So, and I know even you guys had looked at hiring to do things more right shore, near shore, offshore, and at the end is you decide to do things internally. So
But you need to know a bit. We know a lot more. We need to the back end. We know the business, and we know
right.
the user. So we cannot just ship this somewhere and then only back end to go back and forth and this and then so. And like I said, we needed to with the to get the business involved to a minimum because of lack of resources and lack of understaffed. Some departments are
Yeah, and most of the time people don't try to get the business involved. However, sometimes it's the case. So you need to again even more automate things for the business. So make things as
this
easy
is the reason
as
why we went with
possible.
the automation tool that you guys
Yeah.
provided us, and then it helped us a lot.
Hey, Gassan, thank you very much. Just stay on for a couple seconds. JF, are you still on? Yes, he is. I'll add him to the stage. I'll just take a couple of
Elevated.
questions before we go to the BI 2025. Okay, so here we got a question from Michael. Are used universe objects based on their inclusion in Webby reports or based on refresh activity? We still have many users using WRC, so their information is not in the repository.
Well, it's there's
Go
many
ahead.
parts to that question. Oh no, go ahead, Gassan.
Go ahead, Gassan.
The thing is, in a previous upgrade, we made sure we got rid of the full clients because the distribution, the software was costing at certifying and distributing was causing it was too expensive and many issues, especially when it comes to the Java version installed on each and every machine. So we always had issues with the Java because the same machine would have like a requirement for certain version of Java for an application, that critical application, and it won't work with the Webby Reach client. So we managed to make everything go live Webby, especially that was the new, the recent one, the latest 4.2 version of Webby. It's very close to what we see the functionalities provided on the desktop. So yes, everything was in the platform, and we had visibility on what's going on. And for our case, we had to minimize the documents. Like we didn't want to migrate obsolete documents. So make the 360 eyes tools provided us with the functionality where we can tell when was the last time a document viewed, retrieved, refreshed, whatever. So then we decide, okay, this we flag for migration, for repointing. The other one, I send a list to the users and make sure they delete them. I get their word on the deletion. So I would rely on when was the last time the document used to make sure that it's a required document.
There is another question here from Srinivas. So, I don't know what SAP is going to do actually, but Srinivas, this is why we're here, to educate the community. And it's something that you can definitely do with wisdom. I think, as Gassan pointed out, is I think things didn't work too well for you.
No. Unfortunately, yeah.
So we love to talk to you after the event, and we could do a chat of that. Okay, then let's take another question here. Okay, let's go another one. Okay, we got another question about the Tomcat version that we will be covering after that. Is there any change in the license model for BI 2025? No, it's the same. And then you will have all the new functionalities with the interactive dashboards that are going to be in BI 2025. So you'll be able to use that as not only a reporting solution, but also as a dashboard solution, and it's going to be fully supported by SAP. Srinivas also had a question: is the reporting solution price based on a number of reports, or it comes as a package? It comes as a package, and then we can chat after on that. I think Gassan, you were saying at the end it was fairly competitive versus doing it internally or outsourcing.
Yeah, and we're gonna be using it for our move from 4.2 to 4.3. So.
Okay. Is this taking into account the personal documents too? Current process only lets us convert public documents. Who wants to take that question?
That's correct. It takes also the personal documents. I'll be quick to mention that the inboxes are not covered because they're not meant as a storage location. But personal documents, yes.
Can we get inventory lists of all Webby reports and corresponding UNV with 360, mainly to coordinate testing, activities?
Short answer, yes, of course.
Okay, let's be quick here. Does the 360 suite, Wisdom 360 suite, will show the error message if any data discrepancy when we validate the data between UNVs and UXNext Webby reports?
I'm not exactly sure which error message we're referring to, but if any error arises during the conversion or the repointing process, it will be captured in the log. The validation itself simply compares working documents between each other.
Also, do we have option to compare SQL syntax after converting UNV to UNX? Maybe Gassan, that question, that answer. or not, or maybe Jeff knows.
Well, the thing what the tool does, it runs the WebI and then it creates an extract. So it doesn't tell you what's the new syntax is, because the syntax you're gonna fix it. You fix it when you convert the universe from UNV to UNX. But when the report executes it, it just takes a copy, an instance of your report, and creates an XML output, and then it compares the XML files.
Yes, but however, if I can expand on that, aside from the validation, we have the auditing feature, which will in fact capture the SQL from there. So yes, if you're looking for that, it is available.
Okay, the inbox reports, if refreshed, will still be pointed to the older UNV after conversion, Jeff?
Again, we don't, and I may stand corrected on that, but to the best of my knowledge, we don't touch the inbox reports, because again, it's not considered a valid storage medium. So, but if they're in the favorites or personal documents, we can repoint them.
Okay, so just the last thing before we go to BI 2025, in a future live summit, essentially we will be doing a live migration, and then these are the 12 steps that we will be sharing with you. So feel free to contact us if you want an entire process on how to go to BI 2025. So over the years, we've done thousands of migrations with Wisdom 360 Suite, and we have actually refined the process because we have actually validated Wisdom on BI 2025. And so we'd be very happy to provide you this entire methodology on how to go there. Okay. Okay, I see. Is Gregory still in the backstage? I see Gregory is still in the backstage. Gassan, thank you very much for taking the time. Jeff, and if you wish, Gassan, actually, you are more than welcome after that to join the round table if you want to stick around. Jeff,
Okay.
I will be looking forward to see you shortly as well for the round table. Thank you very much, folks. Okay. So we're going to add Gregory. So, all right, folks, this is the moment that we have all been waiting for. It's time for the BI 2025 live demo. We've gonna see this bad boy in action with Gregory, and I can't wait to see what it's capable of. So get ready. I know you're going to be blown away. So Gregory, just show us BI 2025. Let's get things going.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, I'm going just to stop the camera and share my screen and show you what I can of the
Done
BI
deal. And then we'll
25.
take some more questions. Actually, one quick question before
Please.
is which version of Tomcat is BI 2025 using?
Tomcat 9 something. No. It's 9
Oh.
something. It's not 10. 10
Okay.
is I can figure out
It's
and
fine.
apply
If you want to,
later
we
on,
can
but I
share
think
that.
10 is causing some discussion. Okay,
Okie
let me
doke.
just let me start this just to monitor a little bit, and here we go. Okay, so
Could you share your screen,
I will do
Gregory?
that
Okay, so maybe I
immediately.
can see it. Let me see if I can see in the backstage. No, I do not see your screen in the
Not yet.
backstage.
Hold on, entire screen. Second one, share. Do you see something?
I see it. Here it
Okay.
is.
Okay, I'm going to remove my face from the presentation like this. Stop the webcam if you don't mind.
Yep.
And switch for the screen. Okay. So here we go. So the BI 2025. So this is the BI Launchpad, something that you might use or might not, depending of your preference. But let's start with this one. For those who are used to this one, so you might have immediately identified something really new at the top. You have home favorite recent document, recently run application, and you have My Tiles. What is it? Let's go. My Tiles is a new functionality in BI 2025 that lets you define a tile and its content based on an existing WebB document. So how does it flow? You have all the classic home and with a list of folders. You have your favorites, you have your documents, you have your application, and you have your tiles. Your tiles are, I would say, the main information that you would like to see every time you log in into the BI Launchpad. This is the most important thing that you have to look at first thing in the day to, let's say, to monitor your business, to monitor how is going your production line, etc., etc. So this is really new in BI 2025 and really easy to put in place. You just have to click here. You have to define a name, let's say tile for something. You have first thing to do to log in before to identify what you want to use, validate, and choose a representation and save. Cancel. I'm not going to show it. I'm going to show it on something which is working, or there is a live error. For example, on something which has been predefined before. This is a tile name. This is an open document. That's what you are using, and that's what you have to grab from your existing Web Intelligence document. This is a report part, a viz existing in a Webby document that you decide to paste here. You validate and you choose if it is a tile of a custom size 1.5. You will get, this kind of tiles which are interactive. For example, I show you, right, to follow a list of product and where they are in your stock, for example. This is working live. And furthermore, when you have, let's say, a tile that show you the main KPI, for example, this KPI can be positive or negative, deviate in the time, and you would like to understand what's going on. Of course, you provide the options to go from this tile directly into the Webby document where this tile sits in order to get further details. And you can do that by clicking on Go to Document, and that's it. I'm not going to do it because this will break the flow of my demonstration. But let's start with the demo mode, the data mode. Data mode. Okay, allow me to open a Web Intelligence document. So I'm going to start with the data before to enter into the dashboard mode. So data mode is this entry in the Web Intelligence document that you can access since the BI 4.3 size pack 4, right? This is this data at the top here. As you can see here, data, you have reading, design, structure, and data that will show you your data. And from there, you can preview your data, transform your data, enrich your data, synchronize your data in order to build new cubes that are going to be used for the design mode. So by preview, I mean you can preview all your data. Here I'm previewing the sales 2017, 2019, the ID and description, and sales target. I can view them as a table, or if I want, I can explore them this way. This way is pretty useful because I can view every occurrence of the information composing my, for example, my line dimension. I can count them, sort them by ascending, descending. I can use a count, or I can use any measure available for this cube to represent my data, right? And like this, if I do a descending, I can see that immediately the sweet t-shirts represent the most of the sales. Let's go back to the count, which is easier, and that's it. Second thing I can do, I can quickly transform my data if I want. So for example, here, if I want to remove the y dot to have a clean year definition, I just have to click on replace. You don't have to write any code. I click y, replace y dot by nothing, done, and this is done. my column is immediately substituted by the right string. Pretty useful to clean the data when you have multiple lines representing the same rows, but with the wrong orthograph. Let's go back. So pretty useful, right? As you can see, preview, explore, thanks to this facet mode, transform in one click. That's the main thing you can do. Second thing you can do is to synchronize your data. I mentioned it previously in my introduction. For example, here I have two cubes. Two query. One represents the sales for 2017 to 2019, so go on from 2020 to 2022. Why not creating one cube with all the sales? Easy. I select the first cube, I select the second cube, synchronize, and I want to none, which is already possible. I want to do an append cube. Let's do that. I have exactly the same columns with the same column names, so this is really easier, and create. And that's it. I've created a new cube, and I can preview immediately the result of this new cube, which has as many rows as the two previous cubes. You would say, why do we do that? Because it helps. It helps because furthermore, I can merge this new cube with this ID and description, and then this new cube with targeted sales, and I can hide all the previous cubes to my end user. That's really the beauty of the things, which means that when you enter this mode, you can prepare your data set for yourself to create a report, but also for everybody that need data that are merged and validated by someone. As you can see, I have the options to hide the cube, which means that when I will enter the design mode, I will only see one cube, which can be this one or the last one that I have created at the end, the ones that I want to keep and display for my end user. And this is really powerful because if you look at, whoop, am I still on screen? If you look at all the cube
You're
I
still on
have
the
at the
screen.
beginning, which are the result, I'm on the screen, which are the result of my refresh, right? I have one universe from eFashion. I have eFashion on SAP HANA. I have a second database, which is Excel, and a fourth entry, which is Texel. And I can go on, right? I can add as many queries as I want. I'm not limited here in terms of queries. And by the way, in average, we have 7 queries in a web document. So sometimes it's good to use this tool to clean all the queries in order to build one virtual cube, which is what you're going to use. And so, as you can see, every time I hide a cube and the data corresponding to it, by the data, I mean the dimension and measures, this is hidden. And this option show you what your end user are going to use. That's the purpose of this data mode. Furthermore, I would like to highlight also the fact that every time you apply a transformation on a data, for example, if I look at my previous objects year, there is an icon that let me know that, hey, this one has been changed. And how has it been changed? You just have to enter here into the FX to look at the different transformation, successive transformation being applied for this column year, for the year dimension, which means that all the transformation and modification are listed and I can remove them if I'm not happy with one specific transformation. Okay, all the things I've just explained right now until now are available to all of you since BI 4.3 Service Pack 4. Of course, this data mode is available in BI 2025. And what are the new capabilities inside BI 2025 for this data mode? Quickly, and this is really powerful now. This tool is now a monster in BI 2025 in the sense that now, for all of you, we give you access in addition of all the one-click action transformation to the formula language, which means that I can, if I select this dimension, I can use the new formula editor to transform in place my information. For example, here I have an object which is line. I want to merge it, let's say, do a concatenation with another object in my dataset, which can be, let's say, category. Let's call it category. My completion should propose it to me immediately. Where it is? Doesn't want, or why? Okay, I want this one. Are we going to bring it here? It is easy. Okay. Okay. Ah, yes, I know, because it is hidden. So this is vente underscore 2017-2019 dot category. Here we go. And normally, if I click on OK, here we go. Now I have an objects. I have transformed all the data in place for these specific objects. To simplify, yes, let me put it shows. That's the reason why I didn't get auto completion in my formula editor. So as you can see, I've enriched my dimension lines in place, and I did something really dummy, right? It is just a concatenation, but just to be sure to let you, I have access to all the capacity of the formula editor. You can do what you want. If you want to do an if then else statement directly in the data mode, this is entirely doable. So I can do in place transformation. Furthermore, what I can do, and yes, every time I do a transformation in the list properties for these objects here, displayed here in this panel, you see the formula being applied to calculate this dimension. Another thing I can do, I can build a new variable directly, right? I can create fx. Hold on one second, I want to use the right, yeah, this is the right cube. I want to use this one. I can directly create a new object. And this apply for dimension and measures. So let's call it new object. I can qualify it as a dimension or measure or detail. Let's use it as a dimension, and we call it equal. Let's say city. Sorry, city. It will propose me city, and create a concatenation with state, for example, right? State here. Here we go. And okay, what I'm going to get this new object added automatically to my initial cube, etc. And one important thing to note here is that every time you open the formula editor, either to enrich the lines, a dimension, or a measure, or to add a new object as part of your initial cube or the virtual cube, you are not created new variables in the design mode. The objects you are created remain true objects, dimension or measures, directly in the list of available objects. And that's it, right? That is really powerful. You completely hide the complexity of the formulas to your end users that are going to use these objects here. So that's a first new innovation, the ability to use the formula editor to enrich your data in the data mode for existing objects or existing objects in the original cube, this kind of cube, or for the virtual cube.
This is really phenomenal, Gregory.
Yes.
I'm glad you're showing that.
I love it. Really, it's a small thing, but really for you, game changer, because everything you do here in the data mode can be shared, with the end user, right? This is another use case you can.
Yeah, it's so critical. I agree with you.
This cube. This is an append. We did an append, which means that I took the first cube and I have added the data to the first cube, right? But look at the list of operators we propose you. In BI 2025, the two new things we had, this is the right join and the right join without intersection. That's the two new things we are adding in BI 2025 to complete the list of operators that you can use. Really nice
Yeah,
improvement.
and the data mode is just it was cool in 4.3, and that was when you've introduced it for the first time. But I will tell you, I think two things that were missing before was one, the data mode, and you've drastically improved it. And now it's the ability to do dashboards in Webby. So I think these were two things that were, I think, really limiting factor for Bobje. And I think this is really phenomenal. Gregory, I have a question before we move on. That was more about uh, the cubes. Just hold on.
Yes, please.
Okay, so there's a question from Tim. Data mode is available on 4.3. Is this different from BI 2025 that is already available? I know it's very different, but maybe you can put a couple words on that.
Yes. Uh, this data mode is available starting BI 4.3 Service Pack 4. It is the same in BI 2025, but in BI 2025, we are adding the ability to access the formula editor in data mode to enrich your cubes. Does it make sense?
Yep. I have a question from John. Gregory is referring to creating cubes using data mode. Where are these stored? Is there a new service, a server in Business Object to host this functionality, or is it hosted on an existing service/server?
This,
Yeah.
it is. This is on existing server. This is not a new service. Uh, Today, since the beginning of Business Objects, every time you query data in Web Intelligence, they are stored in technical components that we call the Webby microcube, right? Up till now, this Webby microcube was a kind of hidden. With the
Yeah.
data mode, we expose it and we let you manipulate the data inside. That's what the data mode allows you to do. It allows you to view the data in the microcube, which is populated by your query, right? Here. This is a query. And we let you modify, enrich, transform the data stored in the Webby microcube. And furthermore, to create virtual cube, which is represented here in this area that you name the data flow with a green color.
And how effective is it to handle large data set? We got a question from Santosh.
Yes, perfect. I love these questions because you should all be aware that now Business Object is using a 64-bit architecture,
You bet.
which is very good because it means that if you provide enough CPU and enough memory, this is potentially unlimited as long as you provide enough memory and enough CPU. Handling 1 million rows in a Webby cube is, come on, you can do it. Easy.
Two questions before we move on. Can the new tab, My Tile, be customized by users groups?
This I have to double check, but I think this is personal, which means that it is the user logging in that will personalize my tiles.
Okay. Okay. Two more questions and we move on. The new data cube do imply that the size of the Webby report will increase, or the new cube is only logical?
The new cube is normally logical, which means that the size of the Webby document should not increase.
Let's take a question from Reimer here. Again, will it be possible to change/edit the primary cube after append/join?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
And of course, all the transformation you are applying here, all the synchronizations, the fact to join two cubes into a virtual cube that you are doing, you can refresh this,
Okay.
which means that you are doing something, you get some data here. For example, here you get the preview, but the next week, the next month, when you will refresh, you will get all the new data. And on this new data, you're going to apply the same transformation and again, which means that you do this once, but once you update the data, everything is updated in one shot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Gregory, let's move on.
Okay, so this is once again, I wanted to start with the data mode and the new data capabilities in BI 2025. I will close this first document, don't save, and I will show you the tile here. I mentioned that you can, from the tile, jump directly into the Webby document. Oh, there is a small error. The way you will do that is to click here and go to Webby document. So there is different way to open a Webby document. I can click on the tile here, but if, for example, here, the information in this tile is interesting and I want to look at it, let's go to it. And let's open a Webby document in BI 2025 by using the BI 2025 capabilities. And that's what you're going to see in a few seconds. So this is a Webby document that I prepared for all of you, just to introduce you that now with Webby document, thanks to the new dashboarding capability, you can start to tell wonderful story to your end users. So let's start with what you have on the screen. As you might have seen, the size of the layout of this dashboard, I call it this dashboard, fits the screen. And this is on purpose because we provide you layout that fit exactly the size of your screen, depending on the device you would like this dashboard to be open on. Furthermore, to let you tell very nice story, we propose you rich text. Rich text is this component here on the screen that let you put information in perspective by using your different formatting, different color coding. You can do by using the plain text capability. But what the rich text cells support is HTML tag, which means that if you are proficient with HTML, you can use the rich text to insert inside any HTML that you would like. This gives you the ability to display videos if you want. A YouTube, for example, here in the screen for you if you want. And that's what the rich text capability is all about. To navigate, you have icons and you're going to open the first dashboard. So this is my very first dashboard. This is not a report. This is only one screen dashboard, not multiple pages. The first I would like to mention is now, if you want to interact with it, you do not have to look in the screen for all your input controls. The input controls are directly inside the dashboard. You have different kind of input controls. This kind of switch that lets you select additional things or to remove. This is we have checkbox if I want to filter for certain period.
Yeah, this really looks like
I'll show you quickly.
I was going to tell you some other BI solutions, but this is extremely interactive. So, and that's the demo effect, you know, with the, I'm sorry for the latency that we have. I think
a few minutes ago. Okay, never mind. So I can use drop-down list as well if I want to focus on something, a few items. Here we go.
Here it is.
Here it is. What do we have on?
Yeah, it's still refreshing, Gregory. You know, while it loads, Yeno has got a question. Do you plan to have a BO client version through BI 2025?
Yes, we have, and it will have the same capabilities that I'm showing you on the screen, exactly one-to-one.
Okay.
Okay. What else do we have? So I mentioned this kind of interactivities, right? And we are able to achieve this thanks to new widgets. Not only we call these the widgets of type filters, like this bullet point here, like the checkbox here, or the drop-down list here, but also widgets of type charts that let you drill up and down specifically to look at specific information if you want. This is new frankly input control inside. I would like to mention also that you did one step further in terms of interactivity. You know tooltip, right? Tooltip is the small piece of information you can see here when I display the data point. Now with the BI 2025, you have custom tooltip, which means that you can decide what will be the content of the tooltip being displayed instead of showing state, etc., or something else, and the measure corresponding. You can decide to display a chart, completely a chart in the context of your selection. This is a chart. Or if I would choose something else, it will show me another chart in the context of the data point I've selected. Show me my chart, please. There we go. There we go. Not only you can choose to display one chart, but if you want to provide more details and a lot of context, this can be multiple charts. Here we go. In this case, in the context of the bar chart I've selected, I will get a multi-chart. This is fully interactive. You can choose what you want to display inside. And furthermore, if I want to reach the next details, I can do custom tooltip on custom tooltip. This is really up to you. There is no limitation regarding the possibilities. Right, really powerful if you want to provide real interactive dashboard. So this is the first dashboard and the first piece of information you can create with the BI 2025. Dashboard number 2. We did not stop there. Now, with BI 2025, you do not have to go to the next page to see your table. Everything can fit in one dashboard. To enable that, we propose you scrollable table like this. So all the information fit in your screen, in your dashboard, and you can go down, up and down to see all the details. Not only can you view all the data contained in your table, but we think that the thought that it would be very useful is, furthermore, instead of showing measures as a number, you can replace this by different microcharts. So now, with the BI 2025, you can decide to display your information as microchart. We have 4 kinds of microcharts. We have the bar chart, we have the pie chart, we have the bullet, and you have the variable here. And as you can see, I switch between both by using this component. We call this show height component. It gives you the possibility to display, if you want more information the way you want. So you just show hide what I want to display. And everything can be, of course, controlled by this input control in an easy way. Here we go. And here I have my microchart and my table. Okay, so this is the kind of things we will let you achieve with the BI 2025. Furthermore, we have this dashboard, but not for a laptop consumption. This is a dashboard ready to be used on a smartphone. As you can see, it fits nicely the size of a smartphone, but in addition to this, we put inside this layout all everything you need to be displayed on the screen of your smartphone, and you can choose if it is a very big smartphone, a medium smartphone, or a small smartphone. Same thing for the tablet, and so on and so on.
So this is fully interactive, and again, this is included with your licenses that you have today.
Indeed,
you don't need to buy more.
Indeed, everything is part of it. And furthermore, I mentioned that just to complete the demo here, I mentioned when you have this, you need to be connected in the web browser to consume it, right? That's the way Webby works today. I mentioned that the second innovation we would like to provide you is the ability to export the dashboard in a new format which is consumable outside the business objects world, which means without any business objects access. We call this the Web Intelligence Document Extract, WIDX. To do that,
So you mean you don't need, like right now on this phone or like this this WebEx?
you don't need to be connected to internet. That's what I mean. You don't need any business objects. You just first need to select, going to export to, select the new WIDX format. You select the dashboard you would like to export.
Yeah.
And click on export. That's it. What you will do, it will generate a package, a new package. Let's wait a few seconds just to see the output of this package. This package will be a zip file that we have to download locally. I did it previously, right? Let's wait. Okay. That's the sense here. Keep. And here we go. You get a new package. This package is this zip file. Do you see it?
Yep, I see it. Yep. I see it. Yep.
You unzip, you will get this unzip folder. And inside this unzip folder, you will get this new WIDX things. This is completely autonomous. You don't have, again, to be connected to internet. You don't need business objects. You just need one browser.
Okay, so that just means you need a browser. You click on that file and it's going to open. You don't need any client or anything behind
exactly
that. It just like a PDF or Word document. You'll click on it, it opens.
That's it. That's what you need.
That is really cool. And it's going to be interactive.
Let me show you. This is opening on the second screen. Now you see it on the first screen.
This is phenomenal.
And here you go. I hope I didn't break something.
It's gonna load. It's got, just I know it looks like you've got some connection issues when you present.
I don't need connection, right?
Okay.
I just need some CPU on my side to make it work and to share it. Let's give it. Come on.
Well, while it's waiting, we got a question here from Charlene. Do you know if it requires coding or is it a drag and drop? We use Tableau.
No coding at all. Just drag and drop.
So, Charlene, I hope that answers your question. Actually, why the hell go on Tableau with that?
What's going on?
It's the live effect, and you probably don't have enough CPU or something behind the scene. I know you've got lots open behind, so
let's close a few things. I hope this is not the sharing which is breaking it. Okay, let's reopen it. Open.
We got a question from Mr. Kevin Orzel. Welcome, Kevin. Can AI be used to provide a high-level exact analysis of this dashboard data?
No, not yet. AI is not yet is not part of it. If you want to do some, okay, here we go. So I just have to reopen it. Here we go. So this is the same thing I showed you previously. This is a Web Intelligence dashboard WIDX version. This is completely autonomous. I can filter it quickly. Here we go. And you will get the data up to date without any need to access business objects, right? I want to focus on this, and that. Here we go. And you get the data. This is totally interactive. So this is one version I show you, right, of the previous dashboard I show you, but this one is completely disconnected. If I wanted to go offline, this will continue to work. If I transfer this to my mobile, this will continue to work without business objects. That's the beauty. And I would like to open the second version because I did two preview, the listing, because I know in the business object world, we love table and list of things. And the second dashboard I show you when I was connected in business objects can also be exported as a WIDX, and you can play with it within the WIDX, and it works really, really nicely. Let me show you. So like I said, the analogy is totally right. This is a kind of PDF, but with PDF, we do not provide any Acrobat reader, right? This is
Right,
completely
right. It just
autonomous,
opens in your browser,
offline.
right?
Yeah, that's it. Let me transfer it to
And
the
it
next.
supports like what? Chrome, Edge?
Well, in fact, this is Chromium. Well, in fact,
Okay.
this is a Chromium interaction things. As you
Mm.
see, here we go. You have all the data. You can filter them. Here we go. Here we go. I click. Here we go. A scene. Blah blah. Apply. Apply. Everything is applied almost instantly, and I can switch. All the interaction are available as well as the data. This is really wonderful and powerful.
Yeah, and hey, we got a question from Umar. Hey, Umar, good to have you on. Umar has got a very good question. Can WIDX be scheduled and sent to any FTP? And from there, user opens and export data into Excel and download it. That way,
Okay.
the user's in control.
Okay.
Good question.
The WIDX can be scheduled and export into your favorite file system, which can be FTP, SFTP, Microsoft Drive, Google Drive, or any uh, internal website or external website. Once you get the WIDX cannot be exported to Excel. Right? The WIDX is a kind of artifact. It's a dashboard with the data, with the interaction, with the layout, with the formatting, etc. And that's it. But it cannot be exported to Excel from WIDX. You cannot do an export to Excel
That makes
from
sense.
WIDX.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Okay. What I wanted to show you. Oh yes, go back to my demo because I have furthermore things to show you. Okay, now let's go into the design mode. And let's start with the blank report. I will explain. Do I still have time quickly?
Oh, yeah, don't worry about it.
Yes. Okay, so is it clear regarding the dashboarding capabilities and the WIDX format?
I think it is, and I'd love to see some of your comments about if anybody's got the wow effect with the WIDX, because I certainly do, and I'm just curious to see what the community says. I think it's phenomenal. I don't want to be biased.
I really love it. Really love it. So now, yes, the question, how to achieve that now? Because that's important, right?
Yep.
I show you this is preparation work before, but can I achieve this in the let's say less in the next 10 minutes, for example? So let's have a look at the new interface. As the interface, that's the same interface that you have in BI 4.3, but enhance it a little bit. Let's have a look at the first modification we brought into the new interface. We have a left panel here. To simplify the selection of your data sources, you will have to access this left panel that exposes the information that you can access. Universes, web intelligence document, Excel if you want. And specifically about Excel, I would like to inform you that if you want to import Excel file in Webby, this is really easy now. You click on Excel, Excel pop-up will appear here. You can upload it directly. For that, you just have to select, let's say, a personal folder and click on here, the upload document. You do not have to be in the BI Launchpad to upload the Excel from the BI Launchpad into the personal folder or public folder. You can do it directly from Web Intelligence now. Again, the workflow is really simple. Click on Excel. I want to use an Excel file, upload from there, and that's it. So you access everything. By the way, we support OData. That's
Good
important for all
still.
of
That's
you.
good.
It's for there.
Yeah.
And we support information stored in Google Drive and Microsoft OneDrive. So if you are using this kind of repository to store information, you can use them within Web Intelligence. So that's, we call this the data source panel selector. Okay.
And talking about which for OData, have you done any improvements with BI 2025 when it comes to OData connectivity?
From OData, not that I can mention at this point, Bruno.
Okay. You know, one thing that I think we've actually introduced OData to a lot of customers. And I think that was extremely well received because everybody wants to use the power of the semantic model. And I've got a question for you. Do you have any plans to do something similar for Tableau?
What do you mean for Tableau?
Is there any connectivity like OData between with Tableau that you could leverage? Or
If
that's
Tableau,
something that,
if Tableau can be exposed as an OData flow, there is a which
okay.
supports OData v4, for example. I think which it means that I can connect my Webby document to an OData flow, which is initiated by Tableau. Yes, I can do
Okay.
that. And the way around.
Yeah,
My
fair
Web
enough. Of course.
Intelligence, my Web Intelligence document here can be expressed as an OData flow. This is not something new, right? Yeah, we can do that. This 4.2 service, 4.3 service pack 2. Okay, so on the left, this data source selector here. Second thing, the layout selector. Haha, that's where the things start to be interesting, because today, like I mentioned, since until now, Web Intelligence equal paginated report. What does it mean, paginated report? It means that you choose a paper size, A4, A3, A5, or US letter, etc., that you apply. Now we propose you a bunch of predefined layout that will fit the screen size you're going to propose. For example, if I want to create something for mobile, I choose small mobile. And here we go. The layout will correspond to the screen size of my devices. If I want to a small monitor,
Nice.
here we go. Big monitor, one click. At the top of this selector, it let me know what is currently applied and what I'm going to manipulate. And this is express the real size. You have the size here expressed in pixel. You can choose. This can be inches or centimeters. You choose. I prefer Excel because this is more convenient to define the size of a layout to be consumed in analytics. And you support monitor for dashboarding, mobile, but also tablet, medium tablet, large tablet. You choose. Not only, I would like to finish on this one, it's really important. We propose you by default some predefined size, for example, for the small monitor. But if you are not happy with the size we propose you by default, you can customize it. Easy. You go on the left, on the right now, you check layout, you have print layout, small monitor, it corresponds to the layout being selected by default. But if I want to custom layout, I can do it. And here you enter the size in pixels, centimeters, inches you would like. If you want to keep the ratio 4:3 or 16:9, you do it. If you want it to be portrait and landscape, you choose, you click on apply, and that's it. Which means that we open the possibilities, right, for all of you in terms of custom layout. Click. So now you have a custom layout or a layout that you would like to use. I will use a medium one, or no, less small one. Let's keep the small one. There is a third panel on the left at your disposal. This is the reports element. Reports element correspond to cells, charts, and tables. Okay. We have many new things here. That you have some field bottom here that let you select what you want to achieve. Here, it means the first bottom here, it means all the report element at your disposal. You might have noticed there is two colors for the report elements, gray, blue, and orange. Here you have the full list, everything at your disposal, and you can mix them, no worries. But if you want to use report elements that are more convenient to be used for a paginated way of report, something that you can use on multiple pages, that you would like to export in PDF on multiple pages, you filter the report element by using this. This is all the reports elements, the classic blocks, the classic charts, the classic tables that are convenient to use to create paginated reporting. But if you want to use or build things dedicated for a dashboarding consumptions, you click on the next one here, because here, this new reports element, they have a specific name. We call this widgets. This is a new visual library that we embark by default into Web Intelligence Starting BI 2025. So the way to filter is here you access everything and you can use everything, whatever, we don't mind. Everything will be compatible. If you want to create something which is more, let's say, transactional reporting with a lot of details, here, that's the things. If you want to create something which is more dashboarding, click here, and that's it. So let's create it. Or you can use it, drag and drop again on the canvas. I will maximize the size. By the way, we propose some kind of magnet actions to create this. You don't see it. So once you have provide a nice size for your table, you have to feed it. To feed it, yes, the panel on the right have changed a little bit. Now they are in column, right, to access the different things. Here you have a list of objects, etc. No, instead of having them in column. So it is just a minor change. So what I'm going to take multiple objects, let's say this, and bring it into my table. And this is my scrollable table. I want a bunch of measures, here we go, that I'm going to add to my scrollable table. And here we go. I'm going to resize this quickly. I'm going to remove the warning here, close. I'm going to do some quick resize. Quickly, here we go. Nice. What I want to do now for this scrollable table, I want to display some of the measures as Smiko charts. I go in the formatting area, I click here, and I choose. I want margin to be displayed not as a text, but as a bar. Bang, done. I want quantity sold to be displayed as available. Done. Sales revenue. Now I want sales revenue to be displayed not as a text, as an integer as it is, but as a bullet. Here we go. Done. I've created my scrollable table. Fit to page. Here we go. Quickly. Now let's bring some interaction. So interactions are all the widgets with the tag filters. They are listed here. So I want my multi-list here. I'm going to drag and drop and put it here. Let's give it a convenient place. So let's resize it a little bit. Here we go. I want to filter this by using category. And here we have a checkbox for category. Done. Let's move it a little bit. And here we go. I want something else. I want a double slider. Let's bring the double slider in the picture. Let's put it here. And I want the double slider to control sales revenue here in my table. So I'm assigning sales revenue here. Second thing I have to do, which is important, is what does this slider has to control? So I'm going into the formatting area here, and I want the double slider to target not the list, not the previous input control, but only the table, the block here, which is highlighted when I do a mouse over, as you can see. And there we go. Now let's resize it. As you can see, I wanted to show you that some improvement in the placement. We have some guide. You see this guide with a magnet effect where they are really next. You don't see it, but they are really next. There is a kind of snap to the next widget when you are building it. And that's it. Something else that I want to use, I want to make it really nice. I want to insert a picture. Do you have a picture? I think this is under sales. I can bring an image. Let's bring an image. Here we go. If I want to bring an image, I go into properties. I click browse. I'm going to select an image. My image will be this banner. Validate. I want the banner to be normal. So I'm going to resize it. Let's bring it from the bottom at the top. Here we go. And let's size this to fit perfectly the size. And here we go. And let's make it top. Nice. And I want it not to be normal, but to fit. Done. Here we go. Just to click a quick save. Done. And there we go. So quickly, You can be these kind of things. And now, just for the beauty, let's export this one as a Redux export. I hope I'm going to get the result immediately. Done. Keep. Open the corresponding folder. Here we go. This is this one, the one number one. Let's do an unzip, extract all. Okay, extract all. I'm prompted, I show you. Extract everything quickly. So the output is really small. Well, if you look at the size of the zip file, it is 10 megabytes. One extracted, this is around 30 megabytes, something not really big. Yes, my CPU is really used. Okay, so the wait is a little bit long, but here we go, here we go, here we go. So this will open my folder with the stuff. Okay, this is blank report. Just open it. Open. You see the small icon corresponding to the new. Okay, this is going to open on my second screen. Let's wait it to be open on the second screen and bring the second screen. And here we go. The report I've created in less than 5 minutes. Everything is there. So now I can continue to play with it. Here we go. And I can slide to something else. Et voila. It works.
That's phenomenal. That is really, really nice.
And maybe the last one. Yeah, the last one. I mentioned the custom tooltip. This is really, again, really easy to put in place, right? You just have to select your table, for example, if you want to implement it, right click. Where is my custom tooltip? Edit tooltip, this entry, the new tooltip. Edit, display a report or report part element. So you have to select something which is available somewhere, which has been pre-built in the report. Here I have a tooltip block. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to select, let's say, margin by city. This one. I can do
so
a preview.
Easy.
Validate. Done. With, for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to show you. Show. Here we go. Save. Let's go in view mode. And now, here we go. Right? Easy.
Yep.
I think that's it. That's all I wanted to show you.
Thank you very much, Gregory. Gregory, do you still have some time or not? I know.
Yes, I still have. Yeah, yes.
Well, do you also want to join the? Sorry.
Right on time. I wanted to say.
Okay. Let's take a couple questions. And you know what? Probably let's. Okay, I'm gonna let all the panel in. So that they can join as well and perhaps help you to answer the questions. So I'll add KJ Keith Johnson from CBeyond Data. Hey, KJ.
Hey, how's it going today?
Super good. I've got Nathan Truin as well from Protivity.
Hello.
We also have Ghassan, if he's still on. I will see if he's still on or not. Well, here he is, and I will add also JF. So first of all, folks, and then we'll take some more questions. Well, I mean, you guys have been doing Bobj pretty much most of your life. Well, what do you guys think? Are you excited or not? What are your thoughts? KJ, let's you start.
Stick me on the spot. Thanks a
Of
lot.
course, always.
No, I think there's a lot of new stuff that's coming out. It looks great. Now I've got, like, just as everybody else on the comment section, more questions, right? Supportability, what's running behind the scenes. So really excited to kind of get in there and get start ramping up on the new version. That's for sure.
Nathan, what do you think?
Exactly. I'm very impressed with what's coming, especially all of the dashboarding functionality. Some of the things I've seen overlapping some of the other products. So definitely some things are bringing in, going forward, being able to bring in some of the discovery, but also being feature parity with some of the SAC stuff that I'm seeing as well, too. So being able to say, okay, we don't have to rewrite all our stuff and go move to a different platform. We can stay where we're at and just enhance what we have, too. So a lot of that is very nice to see. And the platform, it looks like being easy to update and maintain going forward is going to be really nice as well. So,
hey, Gassan, what do you think? What are your first thoughts?
Well, like at Videotron here, we have people went away at some point from BO for the lack of this the whatever functionalities, that great functionalities that are that Gregory showed us, and then the plan for 2025 is to bring people back to BO, and the decision was BO was the main reporting platform that's going to be at Videotron. And we have the people pushing for Tableau, people pushing for Power BI, and many other analytics tools. But again, everything is expensive, and then if you really wanna invest on your whatever you already invested, it's we have the right tool now, the right tool to start bringing people over. So I guess it's great news for whoever is in love with business objects, and one more reason why we're going to be busy for the next probably 10, 15 years, I guess. I might not be there, but anyways.
Well, I hope you will anyway. And I think one key point that you pointed out is, well, you don't need to get some more licenses for other solutions because that's included in your current licenses. JF, what do you think?
I'm impressed, really impressed. I'm pleased with what I've seen, and I just can't wait to start kicking the tires because we can definitely use that.
And I have just two questions before we dive in. Can WIDX export be denied for users in the CMC? I was thinking about the same thing because I see potential, compliance issues. Gregory?
For WIDX?
Yep.
What in fact you have really to consider this point, right? WIDX will contain data and representation of data and interactivity. So which means that this is your responsibility to be sure that what you share is shared with the right person. In fact, same rules apply for the PDF, right? When you generate a PDF with a lot of data, you have to make sure that the recipient is supposed to get access to this kind of PDF. WIDX will be exactly the same.
And do you know when the PAM will be available, by the way?
There is a draft version which is planned, I think, for this week. I have to double check, but otherwise the PAM will be made available at the same time than the release, so March 12th. But if you are interested by the draft, I think you can arrange things here.
And okay, now that's more question for the audience here is, what do you think of the data mode? Have you used it? And I mean, have you used other solutions also doing data prep? And have you been able to compare that? Who wants to take the first answer? Nathan?
Sure. Yeah, I've used data mode in some of the new reports, especially with the support of the multi-source connections going away, trying to convert over, building new reports using that methodology. Prior in the past, I had done not only that, but just basically merging all your sources in the data source before going forward. Both methods, but seeing the data mode and seeing how it's evolved, coming out in early 4.3, it had a little bit of hiccup at the beginning, but then it really got its momentum, and it works really well now doing that. And I definitely recommend anybody to do it. It works really well. You can still go back and preload all your data, pre-sort everything in your source database, and merge, do some of your ETL there. And for large data sets and complex data, some of that you may still want to do a combination of both. Pre-stage some of your data with complex functions, and then bring that together and data merge that in the Webby environment. So it works really well.
Well, have any of you guys tried BI 2025? Have you been part of the program? I know there are a lot of people that have joined the BI 2025 program. Were you part of that?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
So I do know, of course, the Wisdom team actually was in Paris last week to see. Well, I've seen Gregory 3 weeks ago or so in Paris, which was cool, or 2 weeks, I can't remember. And I think our team is already working on, or has been working for some time, to make sure that Wisdom supports that. So outside of that, sorry about that. Any comments about BI 2025 from KJ, Gassan, JF? What are your thoughts? Any?
I mean, for us,
Or you got nothing to say?
Well, we'll the plan is 4.3 SP4 or SP5, first step before hitting the 2025. Again, from our experiences with SAP, jumping on the newest version wasn't always fun. So some people probably might gonna wait a couple of months, probably a year or so, before jumping on the BI 2025 wagon, unless SAP can guarantee that the jump straight to BI 25 is not gonna bring too many issues, too many problems. So this is that from a customer perspective. We don't want to be the guinea pigs of every software supplier. So hopefully 2025 won't deceive us.
I mean, it's always the same thing where, there was a comment earlier in the chat where on the new versions, it's, definitely it's new and it's not as stable. And, that's why something good. I can say, though, things I think got better over time, but I can definitely understand your comments. So.
And one of the things related to that, if you remember, we have all of our prior versions, 4.0, 4.1 through 4.3, we've all had, major release versions with service packs and then patches to fix those. Going forward, the BI 2025 through is just going to be patches.
Cumulative patches.
Weeks.
Yes.
So really those versions, we're introducing features, and they've been introducing features in the service packs for a little while now, as we've seen, data mode being one of those that came in with the service pack. So if you think of it going forward as those BI releases being minor release versions, corresponding to what you would see in service packs prior, with then our patches coming every few weeks after that. If you feel the need to wait for at least one patch to come out, we can, that's a possibility for 6 weeks or so before the first patch. That would be a similar methodology to what you did waiting for the first service pack. The biggest difference is you're not waiting a year for the first service pack. You're only waiting 6 weeks for the first service pack, for the first round of bugs to get taken care of.
Gregory, any comments to that?
No, you're absolutely right. Quality is an important topic, right? And you have to admit that every time we were delivering a service pack, it was a big, let's say, a big shaker for all our customers. And frankly, the rule of thumb was wait service pack X plus patch number 2 after this one to get something really stable. So we want to move away from this, right? And now innovations will be every 2 years, with in between patches every 6 to 8 weeks, cumulative patches. I think it is better for 2 reasons: quality, because we will continue to improve week after week after weeks after weeks, and 2, more time to deliver things with greater quality again. That's a topic, definitely.
And that's something, Jeff, that also Wisdom is able to support with continuous monitoring of their Webby documents in production. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what we're all about.
Gregory, I know you've got to go. If you don't mind taking like 2 more questions. We got a question from Abhishek. Would BI 2025 come with native support for ADLs or blob storage-based files as data source?
No, not by default.
Mm.
And furthermore, if you second part of the questions, because it's connection server, there is a connection server SDK. So, for example, here the request is to report on streaming data sets without using the third party. So there is a connection server SDK. What is it? Connection server is a web business objects component that is using to access database. Since several years, we have decided to provide an SDK for this connection, which means that you can create your own connector to access any database that you do not provide a connector by default. So, which means that if you have a specific need, like you just mentioned, for specific streaming data from specific data sources, you can use a connection CS SDK, connection server SDK, to build your own connector to achieve that.
And perhaps the last question for you before you go. So can this Witix be integrated into Raylight?
Oh, I'm not technical enough to answer these questions.
Anybody around the table knows anything about that or not?
No.
Come SAP Webby Raylight schema internal and the output remain just
the web service Raylights. If we can run, more than likely, if we can run through a web service export with to PDF, to another Webby document, to any of the other exports, it's just a matter of looking at the updated SDK documentation, any related functions for exporting. So more than likely, if you could export through Webby to a WidX document, you can do it through the SDK, through the RESTful SDK, through Raylight, to probably be able to do that same thing, because it's basically doing the same thing. Raylight's calling the same system functions that Webby is that does the export. So my initial say would be it probably does, but again, we need to look at the documentation and how it would work for that.
Hey, Gregory, if you want to go, and then we'll take some more questions. But anyway, I think thank you very much for all your time and all the work you've prepared things extremely well, and we all appreciate, and we're all excited with this new version, BI 2025.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. It was a great pleasure to show you the innovations. Have a great end of your day. Bye bye. Bye bye. Have fun.
Thank you. So, folks,
spread the news. Business Objects is not dead.
No,
not at all.
Far from it.
It's well alive. I see some of all these comments about micro strategy. Sorry about that. I was going to do an analogy. It's just ridiculous on that. No, BobJ is still strong out there. And, it's right now, this is the next generation of BI. A lot of things that we're missing are now into BobJ. As Abhishek says, long live to BobJ. We've all been doing this for years, and we've been hearing, oh, BobJ's dead, etc. But you know what? I think all our large deployments are still investing in BobJ. And the cool thing there is, as Ghassan was saying, is, you know what? You don't need to buy more licenses. So, it's great. This is really awesome. So I thank you very much, Gregory.
Everyone, I'm going to leave you now. Bye-bye, everyone.
So, by the way, for the audience, I'm curious to know if anybody is still in UNV or not. What are their versions? KJ, Nathan, in your customers today, do you still see a lot of deployments either in 4.2 or in UNV? What do you see out there?
Both. We have a few 4.2s. We still have a lot with UNVs. We're actually still working on one that is actually coming up from 3.1 right now. So
yeah, we had the same thing. Yeah.
Fred Flintstone is migrating it, I guess.
So yeah, and they had an XIR2 as well, but decided not to move it. But yeah, so there's still people out here that are using the older versions. It's just, change is hard, or, people have left. A lot of times we run into situations where, okay, the people who manage these systems aren't there anymore, so they don't know what to do with it. So a lot of it is, okay, how do we get it upgraded? Who do we need to contact? Stuff like that. But yeah, once we get past those hurdles, let's take it to the new version. Let's go from there. But yeah, we are seeing a lot of 4.2 still, especially since it just went into life. And due to that, and due to a lot of earlier versions, a lot of UNVs. So it's like, okay, you're going to 4.3. Let's get you prepped to go to 2025. What do we got to do to get you there?
And KJ, how about in the? I mean, you're doing mainly federal, state, and local. What do you see out there?
Yeah, I mean, we've been kind of lucky in terms of, I would say the last 2 years have been getting folks updated or upgraded to 4.3. So we don't, knock on wood, we haven't run across any of those turtles out there, as it were. So it's I would say it's few and far between. Every once in a while, we'll find a UNV that needs to be upgraded, but again, we've been kind of pushing hard to get people, over to 4.3 for a while. So we don't see as much of that anymore, at least.
Yeah. And I see there are more restrictions in the federal space where people typically need to be on the latest versions on that. I see Gassan's got a comment. How about in Canada? How's it up there in Quebec?
It's cold. Yeah, well, it's to add to Keith, people for having done it by myself, like the move from UNV. If your backend remains the same, the migration is seamless. The only thing is, you're gonna end up with a new universe object, and repointing it. It's just for the repointing. You still need to do to accelerate the repointing of the webby from connecting to UNV to UNX. But testing wise, it was. The backend didn't change, so you can almost guarantee that the results, the reports are not going to be impacted. But you still find that to have a tool. It depends also on how many documents you have. If you have hundreds, probably a couple of guys can do it quickly in a week. But if you have thousands and thousands, so you definitely need an automation tool like the one I use from 360, the 360 suite. But for the validation, it was quick because the backend didn't change for most of the UNV to UNX. But we still had to do the DB2 to Snowflake. This is where the SQL in the back changed, and there's a lot of work to be done when creating the connecting your universe to Snowflake, migrating it from DB2. A lot of work on the syntax and the functionalities provided by the backend. So this is where you definitely need a tool, one to repoint, and second to do the validation, and like a visual validation of the result. Yes, if it's green, it matched, you move on. If it's orange, like the JF showed us, most of the times most of the issues came from we have data stage, and then we move at the same time we're moving from data stage to Matillion, so we have many things going in parallel. So the discrepancies mostly came from leading blanks, trailing blanks, tabs introduced in the migration for on the and the load for process. But don't try to do it without the deals that can actually cut in time and in effort and headaches.
Oh yeah, and I'll agree with that too, because while you can do them manually, you can even use the Admin Studio workflow technically to do it that SAP offers. That is that is more complicated to use that. You can't do data validation except if you open them up manually and compare them side by side. And a lot of times you'll miss stuff because you're just looking at, okay, these look right. But using the 360 tools, like you're saying, you run them in batch, you get results very quickly, and you can easily tell, hey, this is wrong. Why is this wrong? Well, you got a data issue. something changed during the conversion process. You've got maybe a rounding issue. We've seen that many times. And when you're converting lots of documents over, repointing them, it really helps. The tool really helps make it much easier to do it. And I've used it over and over again at clients and highly recommend it for clients.
Yeah.
It makes life much easier than the SAP tools. Well, before this, we used to have to SDK script it before SAP had any of this and before Wisdom offered anything like this. Remember, years ago, you used to have to do it that way. And yeah, I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Well, who likes doing that? And I've got a question for you in terms of the new Widex. How do you guys see your customers using them? I think it's phenomenal, but how do you see your customers using them? Do you think there's going to be a wide adoption of that? I see definitely a cost benefit Ghassan mentioned, but what do you guys see?
So go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
Well, so I think my biggest question is around kind of data security.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, people can export out to Excel or to a Webby report today, and it goes loose in the wild, right? So, just kind of, is there ways to kind of secure those zip files before they go out, right? So I think that's one question to get, kind of dig underneath the covers is how secure is that? And I think, a lot of, at least in our space, is they'll be interested, but I think again they'll kind of test that out, the security components, before it becomes kind of mainstream, I think.
Governance is gonna step in for sure, because we can store it in a text. You can still do the same thing. You export it to a text and do whatever you want with it, and then there's no lack of ways of doing the wrong thing. But again, as long as you guarantee who's the destination is who's getting this Widex, it doesn't matter how you deliver it for him. He's getting it in Excel now. So instead of having 2-3 people playing with the data, and they're using BO to take the data, put it in Excel, and then out of an Excel, they're building a nice chart so they can show it to the CEO. If we can do it for one shot from one platform and send it to the CEO, and not have too many interference in between, it's the right thing to do. It's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And additionally, you can control, which documents may be exported. So there's a security feature already for, Excel and so on and so forth.
This is an evolution of what they've done, because originally it was the HTML export that introduced, years ago. It's like, hey, let's export this into a kind of an interactive thing, but the data was stale. So it's just whatever data was there is what you had, static. Then it was like, okay, nobody really wanted to do a lot of this. It's still there, but then you have your PDFs and your Excel documents. Everybody wanted to just pull it into their other favorite tools to do it. No, okay, so now we have the Widex format to be able to do this. And that's the biggest concerns is, okay, whoever's running the report is where the data is going to be filtered by. So wherever that ends up is where you got what. So there's a lot of security controls around that. How does it get sent? Where do you encrypt the zip? Do you repassword the zip file so only certain people have it when it actually gets sent into the wild? There's a lot of unknowns here. So, and again, we've had a lot of these security issues with clients as well, dealing with Webby files and, dealing with Excel and everything else is, as soon as it leaves the system, there's nothing.
Yeah, that's why we secure, we encrypt the zips. We add passwords when we send like PDF, Excels, when we do bursting. I see a comment from John. He's saying that the zip file format seems to be clunky. So that's one of his concerns. Do you got any answers on that, or is it just well, let's see and try it out?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much none of us have really seen it or played with it yet, besides what we just saw. We don't know, but really to be able to wrap everything together, it's got to be bundled somehow. So even your HTML stuff was kind of bundled that way too.
Yeah.
So
I think it's pretty exciting. Look, I mean, that's a major progress. I get John's comment. Sure. But look, this is such a big shift. I mean, even if you were looking like in 4.3, the first data prep, that was introduced at the time. Yeah, at first, it was a little clunky, but you know what? It has well improved over the versions.
Sure.
And I'm sure that's going to be the same thing. So because it is really solid now.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the choice of the format makes it eminently portable, so that's
Yeah.
a big plus.
KJ, Nathan, any other comments on BI 2025?
Can I get it now?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who's going to be the first one? Who's going to, I'm sure KJ will have a lot of customers first because they'll be forced to upgrade, which actually brings me to another point where, I mean it. I think a lot of customers now will need to be on the latest for security reasons, or sometime because of bugs, patches. And one thing I can say is don't be too late to go to your UNX, because if you have some issues like a log4j that will happen again, if it ever happens again, essentially you might be forced to upgrade a lot faster than you think. And if you're stuck with your UNVs, you're going to be in deep trouble. It's going to be hard to justify. So, don't wait too long. Any thoughts on that?
No, that's exactly right. Yeah, never want to wait too long. Like I said, we see clients that do it all the time, but it's more of a I don't know how to do it. But yeah, you want to try to stay not necessarily on the leading edge, but a lot of it is you want to stay up to date on these things. To stay when you're in maintenance for it, stay in maintenance. You can get it according to your current license. You have to pay extra for it, and two, you make sure you have the latest security fixes and everything else like that. That's your biggest thing, because we see that a lot from clients. It's like we get emails, we're done, and 3 months later we'll get our security team has flagged our system that you just installed because we just found the SEV issue that came up. What can we do about it? Okay, well, research. Oh, they have a patch for it already. So they're releasing patches shortly after these SEV issues come out. So they're on top of things with it.
And it's not fun when you have many BI platforms to worry about. So I guess one more reason to move to one centralized BI platform, because we had the same issues with security when they show up for SAP, they show up for SAS, they show up for Tableau, and then they show up for Power BI. So if you have you have to worry about these 4 platforms at least. It's one more reason where you should centralize and go to a platform that offers most of the functionalities like dashboarding, analytics, enterprise reporting, whatever. And luckily, this is all delivered in one platform. So the reason why we're going to be remaining in with business objects will be.
And I think Gregory we were talking about data services later, so I'll be curious to see when that will really be supported, because I recall last time, KJ, I think you had some customers that had to wait for, I think 6 months or so, or even more, I think, to get some support. So I'll be curious on that.
And my understanding of that too is because data services will be supported like BI is going forward with the numbering scheme, but I don't know. That hasn't been fully announced and fleshed out to my knowledge. So that's my understanding, but I can't, I'm not the one to speak on that. SAP has to.
KJ, you were about to do some comments on that?
Sorry.
Oh, no. So the one thing, and I know, you had mentioned about the log4j issues. That's my big question, right? There's still lingering, I'll call it lingering trails of that still through 4.3 and data services. And our customers are still coming back to us, is like, when is this actually going to get cleaned out? So hopefully BI, SAP's
really
kind of clean that stuff out.
There is.
Yeah. There's dust under the under the couch. That's for sure.
That's why I might get my hands on it.
Okay, I was not aware of that, so that's actually interesting. So I guess that's always an issue when you need to do security validation and penetration tests behind the scenes.
Tenable scans, right? So it's always picking that stuff up, and so it'll be we'll be very interested to get that stood up and scanned to see if some of that stuff has finally been kind of remediated and cleared off the decks. Finally, they'll put some security folks off our back, at least for a short term. Sure.
Well, I mean, do you have any more comments or anything before we go? Are there any other topics you want to address, or if the audience has got some comments actually, or some questions for for Nathan, KJ, JF, and Gassan. Please feel free to ask. We have actually a question or comment from Santosh is, what are your thoughts on that? It looks like BI 2025 is leaning towards more developer-centric. Users might need some training. What are your thoughts?
Yes and no. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interject here, but we're getting a lot of 4.2 to 4.3 conversions, and that's been the big training hurdle right now. Here's the brand new interface. What do we do? So it's getting that training. Now going from 4.3 to 2025, like I've seen, we've got a lot of the dashboards and we've got a lot of the fun stuff coming in, but even as Gregory mentioned, it doesn't require programming behind those objects. So unlike some of your other tools, which I will not discuss here, you have to go in and actually code and change everything, and some of them require thick client tools to go in and actually do a lot of that stuff, developer type stuff. And I do SDK work for Bobj, but it's behind the scenes. It's not dealing with the webby stuff. It's all the other components. So a lot of this they're making it easier for end users to do it. So while there is some powerful stuff, and you could probably still do the JavaScript type stuff you could have done for years, it's designed to give this power towards the end users. Unless I got
KJ, any comments on that?
No, I would agree. I think your power users are really going to enjoy, at least what we've seen, are really going to, enjoy upgrading because it's going to give more tools back into their hands in terms of the data analysis and dashboarding skills or dashboarding capabilities.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree. And one thing that was interesting was how interactive now is the data mode. So you can share. This is really nice. When I was reading the question there, each time I see in a question like this, BO is like, I always think, I don't know if you guys recall that, but maybe the audience doesn't know about that. But prior the acquisition of Crystal by BusinessObjects, there was a little fight between Crystal and BusinessObject. And at the time, I don't know if you know, but Crystal used to go and ship soaps written BO because BO also means bad odor. I don't know if you guys know about that. So I love that story. So these were good old fights, before actually Crystal was acquired by BusinessObjects. So each time I see BO, I think, just say Bobj. So because the French would always say BusinessObjects. So for a BO. So that's interesting. Did you know that story or not? No. So, well, next time you see BO or soap, you'll think differently now. Imagine that. You probably wouldn't do that today. I see a comment from Aman. Customers should be concerned about how many CVs recently. KJ, any thoughts on that? JF.
Yes, but that's the word we're living.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes back to the weekly Tenable scans, right? That's bringing that stuff up and having to address it. And then how quickly SAP is able to turn around on some of that stuff, right? Sometimes they say, well, we're not using it, but you can't remove it, right? So it's always kind of a challenge working with customer security groups where you're like, well, the software package is okay, but we can't remove it, but it's not using it. And trying to have that pleasant conversation. So,
and the big part of this is that, we're seeing more CVs, but these tools like Tennis are being more vigilant in scanning them. And it's not just business objects. They're flagging a lot of programs now that have a lot more CVEs than they used to. They're being a lot more in depth with a lot of the scanning than they used to. So it's not something that's just business objects SAP that's getting flagged for more of these. Everything's getting flagged for more.
And one thing that it just makes me think we also support, Tableau, Power BI, as you might know. But what's interesting is, and you got all these native cloud solutions. One good thing with Bobj is you don't have to deal with all the forced upgrades, because when you have all the forced upgrades, like, suddenly like every month or so, you've got an upgrade, and then you realize, damn it, there's a problem. And how am I going to deal with it? We're at least there. You've got time to validate, and this is really important. So, I think that's actually a big advantage of having an on-prem solution like that, because you have full control over the version. So, yeah.
It
You
has
can
a
choose
double
the
edge
one you add
because
with it.
sometimes
Yep.
you fall way behind, and sometimes upgrading becomes a pain. It depends. Every company has its own policies, but the recommendation is always keep up to date with the software version, security wise also.
We got a question here from Charlene. How open have you seen clients give end users the ability to the data layer? We locked that down because we feared they would mispresent the data. After all, they can change it. Who wants to take that question?
Yes, I mean, I don't want to. We've had a lot of our clients just leave it open, and a lot of it relates back to prior to data mode. It was just native SQL. How many clients open native SQL to their users and how many shut them down. And then, of course, SAP came back and said, oh, now you can view it and now you can edit it. Data mode, yes, you can edit it. You can manipulate the data, uppercase, lowercase, and now it seems in 2025 you can do functions on that. So you're really starting to get and manipulate data besides just the casing and stuff. So that's where we get into more of okay, you're now doing native SQL type manipulations on data. So yeah, we have to watch on some of that, and there's also different levels of that data access too. Do you have your power users, your ones who you trust with your data, or there's standard users that are your base level web users who just have basic rights to make a report? Yeah, you may not want to give them all that functionality too. So it's not something we can tell you to do. It's something you've got to work with your security team and just determine what your users are able to and what you're comfortable with. But we've seen both. Yeah. We've seen them just open them up, and we've seen them lock it down to where the users can't do anything. So.
And Charlene, by the way, Nathan and KJ, they both do managed services, so they would, I'm sure, be more than happy to be supporting you on that. So I know we had some discussions on that in the past. So, and I would definitely, I would have no problem to recommend them. So. Well, I don't know if there are any more questions, but KJ, a last word before we go?
Nope, it was enjoyable today. Definitely learned a lot, and looking forward to March 12th, right?
Yep.
Oh,
Nathan?
yes.
Same. I'm definitely looking forward to that go live, so we can demo it and get it up for our users, and looking forward to the next 10 plus years of me being able to do some of this for our clients. So knowing I don't have an end date here in 2 years.
Ghassan?
Well, we have the commitment from the upper management. We're staying with BO. So one more reason, probably I'm going to order a 4.3 sandbox and the 2025 sandbox and play with both. We're moving to 4.3 for sure, but getting ready for the 2025. So just to see. So for what we've seen, it's just great.
And I recall, and I probably can't say too much, but I know you guys are decommissioning other tools, in favor of BusinessObject because it's cheaper and more reliable.
This is why we're happy to see all this new functionality, the one where the user communities was asking for, and this is where we're going to be selling them.
Okay, JF, a last word for the end.
Yeah, I see great things on the horizon. Really happy.
So anyway, thank you very much, folks, for joining. And, we've been really happy to be with you. So this is time to wrap up for today. Hope we all brought you some value. That was the idea behind. Thank you so much for tuning in and being part of this amazing event. Remember, you can catch a replay on our Wisdom YouTube channel if you missed anything. If you have any more questions or just want to connect, feel free to email me or hit me on LinkedIn. We're always here to help. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep pushing the boundaries. Until next time, take care, stay cool, and be well. Looking forward to see you again on the next event. Thank you very much, folks. Take good care, and thank you all.